And now it's time for headlines with JT and the Hootastic panel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Who's Views. It is headlines. Don't adjust your sets. Yes, it is indeed. It's Wednesday, 18th of December, as a matter of fact. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Well, we've got another big show for you this evening. Yes, the big show arrives onto a Wednesday for you. And already so far, I want to say a huge thank you to Lex and everybody that's joining us in here, because we've had a super chat from Lex. Lex, nice to see you. Thank you for your emails. Was watching this afternoon a sci-fi horror movie, The Devil Bat 1940, starring Bela Lugosi. I was thinking what he would be like for the Master in Doctor Who. I can't comment because I don't know who that is, because I'm not up on the horror stuff, as you'll know, Lex, so I don't know who that is. I will go and research and get back to you. How's that? Is that a deal for you? Hope so. But thank you very much, Lex, for that. Nice to see you all. We've got a lot to talk about in this particular show, everybody, because yes, have you heard? Could this be the last Christmas between the BBC and the Doctor? See what I did there? Congratulations, by the way, to George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley. Last Christmas, #1 in the hit parade, as we used to call it here in the UK. Second time, only the second time in 40 years, but well, bless them. God love him. So anyway, could this be the last Christmas between the Doctor and the BBC? I've got a feeling it could possibly be. Right now, as we're broadcasting to you live on Wednesday, 18th of December, of course, it is, because there is nothing in the can. And Stephen Moffat, is this the last time he's going to be writing for Doctor Who? He said it before, he said it again, but if the show isn't there, I think it could possibly be. And we're going to start with that big rumor, everybody, that happened yesterday. Oh, the big rumor. What is that big rumor? I hear you all cry. Well, I've got two people with me now who are very, very excited about that big rumor, and they're joining us now. I've got Paul and I've got Third Doctor Ian. What could possibly be the big rumor? Oh, I don't know. They've got it written on the screens.
Do your best, Wallace and Gromit. There they are.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that good? Jeez.
Maybe a bit wider, and I'd look like RTD, wouldn't I?
Yeah, well, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. We've got lots of our friends with us in the Who chat. Nice to see you all. It's great to see you. Let us know, what have you heard this rumor? If you are following our Facebook page, then you would have done. If you were on social media last night, you would have done. If you've been on social media throughout the day today, you would have done. And of course, the rumor that was dropped yesterday, it was just leaked. Let's use the word. It was leaked, wasn't it, gentlemen?
It was leaked. It dribbled under the door and leaked everywhere. It went everywhere.
It was like a tsunami, to be honest. Not a leak, really.
The plumbers of Britain were on call all night with this leak from BBC Studios.
The BBC needs bigger washers on their taps, let's be honest. You know,
Well, it's because they're so full of wets, isn't it? You can't help it.
Well, yeah. Let's get to it now, because the big leak, if you don't know, was this yesterday. Doctor Who, The Collection, limited edition, season 7. Now, this has been the worst kept secret in Doctor Who since the last worst kept secret. We've all known that season 7 was going to be the next one, that it was due sometime early in 2025. And then suddenly this appeared yesterday, and then went all over the place, went everywhere. And of course, we were part of that mix where it went, and we thought, oh my goodness. But I have to say, gentlemen, and we're gonna actually play it cool here. If this is true, isn't this the best cover yet?
My God, yes.
Look at it.
it is superb.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Imagine that on the shelves of the shops that are left here in the UK. Like, I can only think of HMV would sell it, basically. But that will just scream, wouldn't it? That would just scream to people off the shelf, come and buy me. Isn't it beautiful, everybody? What were your initial reactions then, everybody?
Well, I was just, well, we all suspected this, as you said already, but I've not been this excited about Doctor Who recently because of other things going on. But this is just so good. I mean, enjoying season 25, but this is season 7. This is a cracker of a season, and I can't wait to get this. I really can.
This is 25 episodes of absolute perfection.
Yeah.
And I don't think a Doctor Who series, a Doctor Who season, will ever start with as good a story as Spearhead from Space.
Yeah.
It is everything about it is perfect. The fact that that happy accident that it got put all on film because of a strike and everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Especially John Pertwee should have been on film.
Yeah.
But you know, if you
well,
ever,
this whole season, yeah, it should have been.
if you ever doubt it, just look at this, and
Yeah.
you'll see what it could have been.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but even then, this is just glorious.
One thing surprised me when I saw the packaging that it's only a 12. I thought it would be at least maybe a PG or something, because there's a lot of it's quite strong, quite adult content.
It says TBC when you look at it.
Oh,
actually.
I see that. Okay, right.
Yeah.
It'll be an 18 then. That's fine.
Yeah, who knows? we've got a lot of you
just to get the horror link in there. Yes.
A lot of you in the chat are already celebrating this. Of course, we've got Julianne. Hello, Julianne, saying to us, season 7. Yes. As many of us are. Andy's Vinyls were the same. My first Doctor Who season as a 5-year-old, and one of my all-time favourite seasons. It is with the three of us as well. Here's Stephen Braddock saying Primords, Autons, Silurians, and Ambassadors. Yay! I mean, you know, what more could you want really to start the year? Because let's face it, gentlemen, this series is 55 years old next month, January 2025. 55 years old, and it's going to look glorious on the Blu-ray, I am sure. Lots of you in the chat here. Thank you so much for doing all this. Lex again is saying to us here, as John Pertwee would say, as the Doctor in Spearheads from Space, shoes. Shoes. It's true.
Unhand me, madam. Yeah.
I wonder if the brain is damaged.
Eddie's with us saying yes, season 7. Dom goes season 7. Silurians, Autumn Primals, and Spacesuits. Can't wait. Thank you, Sean. Sean McNally is saying, I want to wish all the viewers of Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wish the end viewers. Well, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you as well. We are in that season, of course, and it's not too early. To wish everybody a Merry Christmas. So thank you for that. Stephen is saying, what a stunning cover. An entertainment creator is with us. Nice to see you. I was just sitting here hoping you were live. It says live 3 minutes ago. It's a very strange thing, isn't it? This sort of thing. But we are live for you. It's Wednesday, the 18th of December. In the UK, it is currently 8 minutes past 8. There you go. That's how live we are, mate. But it's good to see you. Keep your reactions coming into this, everybody. Pete is with us. Hello, Pete. It's a lovely cover. I think it's absolutely the best cover they've done to date. And entertainment creators saying, wait, the image is fake. It may possibly be, but we're reporting on the fact that this thing leaked yesterday. This thing leaked, and it's a headline, whether it's a real leak or not. But I have to say, entertainment creator, we were expecting this, so it could be. But let's talk about it anyway, because it's blooming good, and I love the cover.
Well, there are other. Do you have any other images of the packaging, GT, at all? Or are you playing it safe?
I do, because as part of all this became this.
Yeah, that's too good to be fake, isn't it? Surely, it really is.
I would say that's too good to be fake. I mean, you know, if we're wrong, we're wrong, but it looks very, very good if it's not. I have thought that the as he's coming out the TARDIS, lovely angle. We don't see that in the program. We see it from a different angle, but for me, being a Pertwee perfectionist, I'm not convinced that that's necessarily the right TARDIS police box prop, but it still looks absolutely gob-droppingly gorgeous.
Ian, what I'm hoping for as a tradition in these box sets, when they open the doors, you see the interior of the TARDIS. I want to open the doors and you'll see that room from Ambassadors of Death and the TARDIS in the Doctor's living room. That'll be lovely. Like that.
That'd be great.
Really nice thing.
I mean, there are 7 discs in this here, so that's led to speculation today as well. I mean, if this isn't, but I mean, come on, look at that. That is pretty good work if this isn't true, and it's done in the very style of the BBC.
Well, that shot of the Pertwee with Liz and 2 Silurians either side, that is absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely. So, of course, this has led to speculation of what could be on the 7 discs. Well, you might get extra bits and pieces, and we know there's an awful lot of content filmed around the time with the DVDs and stuff like that. So that would all be on there, of course. They might have even done some special Silurians, anybody? There might be a special edition of the Silurians on that. Who knows? But stay with us, because, of course, when and if this thing is announced, and there was a rumor, everybody, wasn't there, that there was supposed to be a little announcement coming tomorrow from the BBC, and somebody's pipped the post to them. And we're hearing today, aren't we, gentlemen, that the BBC are not happy. BBC Studios are not happy today.
Oh dear.
What was that word? Tough.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what they're saying into the chat. We've got Lex here saying that's nice, fantastic artwork for Blu-ray for season 7. Yes, absolutely. Paul Stenterford saying, I love that artwork for the season 7 box set. I really can't wait for this release. Take my money, please. This is the big thing about it all, isn't it? I mean, these things are wanted. It's nice to actually, even if it's a rumor, it's nice to report on something that's wanted.
Now I've seen it. If it's a fake, I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
fake, they have really got to up their game for when it's actually legit.
Yeah.
And if it's not that one, definitely.
They've got a lot to live up to if it is, because this cover, we'll look at it again in a minute, stunning work. We've got Legion of James. Hello, mate. The cover is outstanding and it's very fitting for my Doctor. John Mason is with us. Some great stories on that one. Absolutely. And the artwork looks awesome, says Andy's Vinyl. The best Pertwee cover yet. Although personally, I'd swap the Primoid and Astronaut around. Oh, you're never happy, are you, Andy? Never have. Domgo is saying, take my savings, I wanted. Entertainment Creator is still saying, I think it's fake. The disc number is too high. Not necessarily, because there's an awful lot of content that they can put together for this season.
Well, already,
it doesn't have to be the episodes.
I don't know how they do it certainly in the DVDs. I think Inferno's 3 discs on the special edition. Silurians is 2 discs, so I don't see why they couldn't do 7 discs and have a couple for each of them in just about,
absolutely.
7 or 8,
Absolutely. There is a lot of content there.
Plenty of additional material. And they always film additional stuff anyway, don't they, for the box sets? So I think they'll easily fill 3 discs up.
Well, just have a look at season 25. How many discs? I think it'd be 4 discs. That's about 7 or 8 discs with all the different things on it,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Huge thank you to Digby. Hiya, Digby. How are you? Happy Christmas to you for when it comes round. Because you've given us a super chat as well. Nice to see you. It will be interesting to see how the classic season 7 will show up the deficiencies in RTD Who. Oh, there are lots of them.
The box is already doing that. You've not even looked at the episodes yet. You know what I mean?
Where do you start with that?
The box is more animated than Cooties Doctor, isn't it, really? I mean, let's be right.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is leaked, and whether it's official tomorrow or not, but the fact that this is leaked and everything, just literally a week or so before his Christmas abomination sees the screens, is really going to knock them, isn't it? Because there's going to be so much focus taken away. Not that there was much focus on them anyway, but it's going to be all about how wonderful this looks 55 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the big one we're looking forward to, we've already seen Spearhead from space on Blu-ray, but who knows what they've done with it, and who knows what they've done with the rest. But as we say, this has been the worst kept secret since the last worst kept secret to do with Doctor Who, because we've been
aren't they always?
Put it this way, guys. I've got all the graphics ready for the show that we will do in reaction to this, so we can just go. That's how long we've been expecting this. Stuart is with, thank you, Digby. Stuart's with us again. Hello, Stuart, looking very handsome there in your little picture. Season 7. Oh my God, season 7. Emoji. I can't wait. The best season of the show ever.
That was my reaction as well.
Yeah, it was. You didn't have the emojis though, really, were you?
No, I didn't, but in my head it was like that, yeah. So
oh, and I just want to say to Paul Richards, he's saying to us, I've been waiting all day for my washing machine to be fixed. Also battling tinnitus and a crap cold. Xmas is really getting off to a great start. Oh, we'll get well soon. And I hope your washing machine gets well soon as well. You don't want Christmas without a washing machine, do you?
No.
No. Oh,
Absolutely.
We'll get well soon, Paul. And Shock Eye there. And we've got here Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, is saying, I might buy all the Doctor Who classic seasons once they're all out. God knows what they'll do yet. I had this nightmare that what they did then is they collected the box sets into Hartnell, Pertwee, Baker.
Oh, they're bound to do that, yeah.
So you got all the Blu-rays in one big box. You know, like they do with the new stuff.
They'll do like each era, and then they'll do a big box like they've done with the New Who era. They've done that, a massive box of all of them. Yeah, they probably will.
Or they might do the 60s and the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And then anything to blag a bit more cash, isn't it?
Yeah, well, good to actually. Yeah, you could do. Oh, so many of you joining us tonight. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for coming to see us. Season 7 is superb, adds Paul Richards. Glad it's the next release. Oh, yes, indeed. And Dalek Eyes with us saying that cover is so good, it could have been done by Daryl. Yeah, well, yeah. Lex is also saying Inferno will look excellent on HD. Now, I know for a fact that Inferno is one of Lex's all-time favorites. Hello to who, Janus? Nice to see you. Is saying howdy.
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 What else? Oh, lots and lots of luck. Mudcrab, what are you saying to us? It had better be the broadcast version. If they try and force the new regen from the war games, I am not going to be happy. Actually, that's the other thing they could actually do. They could try and add that little thing onto this, couldn't they, as a sort of extra?
Well, as long as there's only an extra and it doesn't bugger about the original, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, if they mess with the original, I may have to end them all. You know, that's not a threat in any way.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But I might allegedly have to do it. It'd be worse than going. It'd be worse than going to a gallery and trashing a priceless work of art, isn't it?
It's like throwing tomato soup on it.
I don't mean it. It was just merely a joke.
It's British humour for those people in LA. Get used to it, because we have a sense of humour still. Honestly. Stony ground. Hello to Adrian James, that's joining us as well. It's nice to see you all. The chat is going really, really quickly this Wednesday evening. Thank you for joining us here on Who's Views for Headlines. And another super chat here from Mark Greaves. Mark, lovely to see you. Hope you're feeling well. Hi gang, hello. Firstly, fantastic series. I wouldn't look out of place on one of the 70s annuals. RTD just disappear, Pertwee is here. I like that. RTD disappear, Pertwee is here. Yeah, we could go out chanting that, couldn't we, somewhere? And Problem Being is with us. But thank you for that, Mark. Really appreciate it. And Problem Being is with us, saying season 7 is one of the best seasons of Doctor Who ever. Cannot wait. This is going to be a massive one for them. I think this is I think this is one that people have been, especially when did the rumors start? Was it March?
It may have been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
It was definitely the beginning of the year, Who Viewers, wasn't it? Where we started hearing rumors that season 7 was in the pipeline, just like season 21 is in the pipeline, apparently, to come after it. So we've known all year about these two. Yeah. I was more excited about the season 7 to the point where I'm telling the guys when we're chatting, this could be one I get as a limited edition just so I can see it, and then I'll flog it when the standard comes out in 20 years' time.
But I do think this is going to do very, very well, and it's going to sell like hotcakes, definitely.
Oh, it's going to sell like hot DVDs.
Yes.
Hot mince pies. That's where it is. We've got here as well from Legion of James. I don't know if I can wait for the standard release for this series. Yeah, may have to pre-order it and worry about the standard later. That's exactly Legion of James. I think you and I may have to just shell out a few extra pennies and then flog them later on eBay. Look after it really well. Devour it, flog it, and then get the standard when it comes out in 20 years' time. Problem Being is also saying to us, fingers crossed they will fix the color on the Silurians, and that's something that they could adjust. Because go on, guys, tell everybody, what do we know about the Silurians and the color there?
Well, I know they have done some process and all the stuff that needs work with color, like ambassadors and Silurians. And I did see there's a website that shows records of when stuff was done, because I've checked, and they have done some work on it already. How much work they have done, I don't know exactly, but they maybe have a documentary telling you that, like they have on the DVD, how much work's been added to it. But it needs a bit more work, but it's still better than we've ever had based on the DVD version, at least, you know?
Mm. I mean, it's gone through various iterations since transmission, hasn't it? I mean, when they did, I think it was that Lively Arts thing in '76 with the Who's Doctor Who thing. They showed a scene from the Silurians. I think it was in that, and it was purely black and white.
Yeah.
And I think the color version they got was from America, so obviously that'd be 425, not 625 lines.
Yeah.
So they'd have all those issues. The American colors tended to be quite weird palette, very sort of like blurred and mixed up and overly saturated. So over the years, it's just had a lot of correcting work on it. But, you know, the technology they've got now is way better than when the DVD originally came out.
Definitely.
And no doubt in 5 years from now, it'll be even better than then. But, you know, let's see what it's like.
They had the same problem, ambassadors, because they had a lot of signal issues in America. The recording they had has interruptions and there's interference and stuff like that in it. So they have to get rid of all that too. So I'm sure they've done that already. But it's going to look amazing, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt. And the importance of this season as well. I mean, it's just right, isn't it, to bring it out in its 55th year? It's just So if you just tuned in, hello, this is Headlines from Who's Views. We are talking right now about the news that leaked yesterday, and we're going to call it a rumor. As Java Bean is saying to us here, BBC do not muck about with season 7. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Nice to see you, mate. Nice to see you. Yes, the leaked yesterday. Season 7 is due to be announced from BBC Studios any minute now. If they're going to act on this leak, if this is true, I want to emphasize that we're going to call it a rumor, but it looks pretty good. We'll show you the graphics again in a minute.
I hope when they do the trailer, they have surprise on it.
Well, I mean, let's face it. This is not the time that they would have wanted to have put it out there.
No,
because this is going to be taken, as some of you are saying in the chat, and as Paul and Ian were saying before we came in, this is taking away from the shooty out. What's it called? Episode next week on Christmas Day. But then again, who cares about that? We are going to be talking about that in this show, by the way. I know you're all thrilled about that, by the way, but we're going to be talking about that. Andy's Vinyl, this is way more important than the 2024 Christmas special, and it will outsell anything by Shooty Gat. Well, show me something that doesn't, mate. Come on.
Absolutely.
Even Blake 7 Series 1 from 1978 shot up to the top of the charts, didn't it? Come on. Mark McIntosh, speaking of Blake 7, is saying, really looking forward to season 7 in near broadcast quality. It's going to look fabulous, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah.
Really, really is going to look I'm going to use the word glossy, and I'll be very disappointed if it isn't. And hello to the Ark in Space. It's nice to see you, Ark in Space. I might even get this version just for this season. I'm collecting the standard editions, like myself, like Legion of Gems, but cannot wait 2 to 3 years. None of the I know what you mean. None of
That's
the
what we're
stories
buying them now. That's collector's editions.
I know, yeah. None of the stories are bad at all. They're flawless in my eyes. Oh, another reference to a George Michael song. Well done. I think a few of us who buy the standards will just get this and then sell it later on just to see what it's like. I mean, because it's such a good quality season. It's very solid, isn't it, guys? It really is.
Yeah.
And it's very tempting to do it, everybody, isn't it? So I know what you mean, Ark in Space and Legion of James. We might be falling for this one, and that's the brilliant thing that BBC Studios need to understand. You might get extra sales on this, and then a lot more of us will then swap it. Ark in Space about to say that as well. Don't forget that with the release of season 2 on Blu-ray now, we're not far off. We're not far off now. We're only 5 or 6 maybe behind. So hopefully, if the rate of releases increases next year and we get 3, maybe 4, that'll take us up a bit further, I think. So fingers crossed to all those standards watching. Hello to Philip Roy, who's here with us. I'm waiting until the seasons are released in 3D to buy. Imagine Pertwee's conch zooming out of your screen. I'm glad you said conch.
Yeah, that was a new thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Stony ground. And hello, Philip, you're naughty. Hello, Eddie. I just finished watching rewatching season 7 yesterday, and I cannot wait to watch this awesome box set. Yeah. That's it there for us. I mean, you can tell, and we knew it, didn't we? BBC Studios, if you are watching, good evening. How are you? A little bit frazzled today? Calm down, don't panic. Look at our views, our lovely Who viewers here who cannot wait for this thing. Multiply that by millions.
Yeah.
The original Doctor Who fans.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Calm down, get your announcement out, watch the pre-orders. That's what I would say to you.
Those,
then go off
those
and have a
fans that they didn't want, that they've told to go away.
Yes.
Those fans.
Yeah,
I remember when these collection sets started, and we came up with season 12 for the first one, and you had to be very, very quick to get them. I reckon this one, you'll have to make sure you get your pre-order immediately if you want to get it.
Oh, you stirry, you getting people all panicky.
I'm not.
You hear that, Bedware? All three.
The collection going. Because I want a Wilderness Years. I'm waiting for that one as well. So.
Hello, Rose. Rose Kirby's with us, guys. Hello to you. Hi. Hey, hello. So let the chaos begin. Sending blessings and greetings. Have yourselves a Merry Christmas, everyone. But for now, have a jolly ho, 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 a Merry Christmas holiday. Well, thank you. And to you as well,
Thanks,
Rose. Keep well, my lovely. And Domgo's saying again, this box set will give joy to the world. But hey, I saw what you did there. Saw what you did there, Domgo. Let's have another look because there's lots of you in the chat. You are very... Peter Harrington saying to us, RTD, are you taking this in? This is what we want. Quality. Yeah, quality treat.
He's not capable of it, is he? And it just shows you that when he brought it back with Rose, this is the first story on this box set, is what he riffed off.
Yeah.
You know, he all the way back there, he wasn't even original.
Oh.
You know?
Ooh,
And he's been
gosh.
ripping off. I've been rifting off ever since, hasn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what, everybody? I'll say this live on the show here. I have got no sympathy for the BBC or BBC Studios or Bad Wolf or any of the people putting this new crap together. Sorry, but it is. I have no sympathy for them at all because of what they've done to our beloved show. And so when this goes to number one, as it will in the Blu-ray charts, the science fiction chart, the drama charts, it will go to number one. We all know it because they all do. Good. And I hope it knocks Joy to the World on its singular release down the pan, quite frankly. You know, we will be reporting on that. Oh, yes, we will. And we're going to love every minute of it, everybody. You're right, Pete. And I like your little picture there of the lovely Delgado with his little Santa hat on. That's great, isn't it? Noodle Arms is saying to us, how can RTD think that the cover of his season 1 can compete with season 7? They can do it properly when they know it's for the proper fans. The difference between the proper Doctor Who and the new stuff is all marketed, isn't it? And everything's planned. So if you look at the planned single release, as I say, of Joy to the World, this year's apparent Christmas special, broadcasting a week today, actually, here on the BBC in UK. The picture they've used is that one that we've used on the show before. And it's nothing original at all. And I bet you that it says it's the temporary one, artwork to be confirmed, all that nonsense. And I bet you it's actually it. It's him and Nicola in that round.
And some TARDIS teapots as well.
Yeah. All that sort of stuff. Yeah. So Mark is asking us, this is a nice question. Thank you for the question, Mark. Do you each have a standout story from this season?
Oh, easy. Spearhead.
It's hard to choose for me because they're all so good.
Ian's saying, see, Ian went straight to Spearhead from there. Go on, tell us why.
It's just, this series was supposed to be dead at this point. I think that can never be understated. Doctor Who was not supposed to come back from episode 10 of War Games. That was supposed to be it.
Yes.
And it was basically a filler. So the BBC wouldn't have put that much behind it, although it did get a Radio Times front cover. It's in one of my books. I've got that cover, which I'm very proud to have, and it's just, of all the times, this was more perilous for Doctor Who than when it came back in 2005, than when it came back with McGann. This was the acid test for Doctor Who, and it hit the ground, not just running, it hit the ground and broke the mile record. It just did it so perfectly, so well. It's 4 episodes of tight, properly paced drama from start to end. No faffing around with regeneration scenes. The TARDIS lands, the Doctor falls out. It's already happened off screen. And it's just boom, straight into it, start to finish. And it's so exciting as a story. I never get bored watching it. And yet it's on film, so it looks even more perfect. But it's just, I love the other stories. I've got a real soft spot for Silurians. Ambassadors of Death and Inferno, they're great as well. I love them. The Parallel Earth and everything, fantastic. Absolutely great. But Spearhead from Space, for me, so much hinged on it, and it delivered time and time again. It's just, that's it for me.
Before Paul answers that question for you, Mark, I just want to go back to the chat quickly because I can't keep up with you. There's so many people in the chat and you're all chatting away and I love it. Thank you very much. Oh, so season 7 has leaked Careless Whispers, says Stephen Braddock. And Mark, whose question it is, says, JT, you've got to have faith for the standard version coming sooner than normal. I love him, I love him. Oh, I miss him. And Stuart Busby saying, hoping the picture quality is hugely improved on the Blu-ray. But does anyone else miss the old grainy film recording version of Ambassadors that used to be shown on UK Gold? You never know. It might be on this DVD. Shepmeister is saying to us, if you buy the limited edition version, it will have fallen apart by the time the standard edition is released. And Eddie is saying to us, season 7 will blow the Savages and the Shooty Crud out of the water. Well, that's a dumb deal, isn't it? Go on then, Paul. What's your answer to Mark?
Well, just to reiterate, I do love Spear from Space. It's definitely my favourite post-regeneration story. It's amazing, great stuff in it. But I sometimes, when I watch this season, I sometimes change which ones I really like the best. But at the moment, it's Silurians. I love Silurians. It's amazing. Just that for the sequence alone with the plague, absolutely brilliant. Love it. Yeah. But it's an amazing season. And this is one that's been one of my top favourite seasons for probably forever, since I got around to seeing it first time round, which would have been the 80s, really, because I didn't see it properly in the original broadcast, unfortunately.
Oh, we've got lots of you here. Problem being saying to us here that his favourite story is Inferno. Paul, another Paul. What is going on with the world? Paul Schulefter. I hope I've said that right, Toya. Schulefter. Nice to see you, Paul. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Who's Views. I think it's time I invest in a Blu-ray player. Oh, my friend, I think it absolutely is. Inferno is the Legion of James. Inferno is my standout for me this series, but it's only by a narrow margin as they are all top tier and above. Aren't they just?
What about you, JT?
Ooh. They're all 10 out of 10 anyway, aren't they? Let's face it, yeah.
Well, Matt is saying to us, I've only seen Spearhead from Space in season 7. Matt, the Silent Wheel Music King, you are in for a treat. It's incredible drama all this season. I mean, this is good quality British drama, and it's good quality Doctor Who with a brand new Doctor who just hits the ground running from the moment you see him. And it's John Pertwee exploring a character in a way that I've never seen him in anything before or since, really. Maybe with Wurzel, actually. Maybe with Wurzel. And Pete Harrington is saying, it's John to the world. Hooray!
I like that.
And I'm copywriting that to Who's Views. I might use that in one of our future shows, actually, Pete. Thank you for that. If you ever see it on one of our future shows, you know exactly what we're talking about. Pete Harrington, again, saying to us, they messed up BBC Studios. I bet they wanted to promote the spin-off with Silurians and the War Games colorized. And then we got the jump on them. It's all ours. As I say, I've got no sympathy if it's the case. If it has been leaked, I would like to know whom leaked it, why they leaked it. Is there a story? Do you want to come on the show? Because I'm smelling there is. I'm smelling there's a story there. Unless it was somebody, of course, from Amazon who just went, oh, press the button, not lead the... It's happened before, hasn't it?
God bless them.
Yeah. Human Error, I think it's called, allegedly.
Well, come on, JT, what's your favourite story?
Oh, from season 7. Oh, as I say, it's such a difficult... Oh, it's one of those seasons where you look at it and you just go, oh, my God, how can you possibly choose? Inferno, for me, is great. I do love Inferno because it is Doctor Who, but it's a different Doctor Who. You know, that's a very mature Doctor Who. It's got a sort of spin to it as well. And, I think I will go, though, at this moment in time, here on Wednesday 18th, I'm going to go for Spearhead for the simple reason that it's a great way to reintroduce the audience.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And you can pick it up at any time, and you've got the Brig in there, and you've got, you've got Liz doing what the audience is doing. And when you look at it, Spearhead from Space is also the template for what happened in 96, 2005, etc., etc. Yeah. It's how to reboot a series properly, which is a shame they didn't do it again in 2024, isn't it, really? So
I love the way Spearhead, the wait for you don't see him immediately, you see little tantalizing glimpses of him, which is great. And then he appears and he's on the Doctor immediately. It's fantastic, really is.
Yeah, really is. There is a lot of love for this coming as well in the chat.
Can I say to the viewers, if you've not seen the 7-parters, don't let the 7-parter length put you off. They're superb.
No.
They really are. Yeah.
There's different elements into all of them, isn't there? There's the initial deaths in the cave and going down there and finding dinosaurs and something else.
Spoilers.
Yeah. There's a hunt for a loose Silurian, and then it's the plague, like you said. That those scenes are apocalyptic. You know, they're very similar to what they were initially trying to peddle was going off in China. Do you remember 3 or 4 years ago with the start of the C word? Horror, isn't it? It's just which station was it in London? Was it it wasn't St Pancras, was it?
I know that because I've been there several times. Was it Paddington?
Very possibly. But I mean, it's
back again.
Right, here we go. And is the chat all right? Yes, here we go. We're back there. Buffing stream, says Gilliam. You're very right there. So I don't know what's going on, but hello. Yes, you're right, Ian. Good way to put that.
I'm afraid I missed all that, but
don't worry.
I'll watch it back later. It's fine. It's okay.
Yes. Yeah, and don't worry as well, because we're going to be talking about it all over again. Because when this is announced officially, make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure that you are, of course, still subscribed to the channel. And make sure you're keeping an eye on what we're doing, because we will be talking about it. We've got our Merchandise Paradise live show lined up for you, where we will be talking, as usual, as we do when these things are released, not only about the glorious cover, but we're going to be talking about what's on the box.
Mhm.
Box of delights indeed. Kirsty, thank you very much for saying us that we're back and we were breaking. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but hello. Smiley people, nice to see you. The whole season is amazing. I love it all. It's just genius. I'm going to watch the full show. I'm loaded with flu at the minute, watching 4 in a bed, but now feeling sleepy. I'll savor it tomorrow. Well, get well soon.
4 in a bed has the same effect on me as well, I have to say.
I hate to even think what that is.
It's not as exciting as you think, JT.
No, it's not.
Do
Do you think that buffering's the BBC trying to take us off air?
Do you know what? That's exactly what Paul's just said. Paul Stenford here. The BBC tried to interfere with your stream, JT. Yeah, but yeah, they could well be. Mudcrab is saying to us to keep milking the wampons. If you were there, you have freedom to use your credit card, baby, and a heartbeat to buy this box set. Oh, I love George Michael. I've got a story about George Michael, but we'll save that for another time. Let's just have another look at that anyway. We've got this. This was what came out on social media. It hit social media yesterday. This is the alleged rumored cover for Doctor Who The Collection Season 7. It was the big news in fandom yesterday, and it's glorious. This has to be the one because, I mean, look at it. And as Problem Being was saying it to us in the chat at all, remember when we reported it in headlines, Lee Binding put out the colour card again as the tease, didn't he?
Yeah.
It matches the colour card with that sort of greeny, yellowy gold thing going on.
If it turns out to be a fake, I hope a fan puts felt tip pen through it. This is a fake through it, just for a little tribute if it is. Okay, so
I have a good feeling about this. That is a stunning cover, and it's better than a lot of the fan versions of Season 7 I've seen over the last few months. Of course it is. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we had this that came along with it, with the covers of the disc, the booklet, and the insert page there. I think it looks stunning. We're all excited about it. It's on the way. We know it's on the way. We know it's coming. Stay tuned with us because, yes, we are saying at the moment it's a rumor. Oh, look, he's got his
see, John's excited as well. Look,
Radio Times.
Hold on one second. Let's just say thanks to Mark Greaves for a ship set. The love and the passion you guys have just spoken about Season 7 makes me proud to be part of the Who's Views family. Sheer class.
Oh,
thank you so much, Mark. Yes, we are all family here. I might burst into song in a minute, but unfortunately we get copyright struck. But you know the one I mean. Yes, but that's it here. So thank you for that, Mark. Really good. Okay, then, Ian, show that again. Let's have a look at that. What did you have there?
That is the Radio Times front cover. It's only the front cover, not the entire magazine, but it is dated 1st of January, up in that corner, 1st of January, 1970.
Ian, you're trying high dimensions in time there. I can just see around the corner.
You what?
You're trying to high dimensions in time cover in the corner there. You've got this one.
Yeah, just tucked in the sleeve there.
Don't know how you
do it. That was a big thing getting there's another one for Day of the Daleks. But yeah, wonderful getting a front cover when it was, not even supposed to be made, let alone be on TV.
They were cashing in on Pertwee though, weren't we? Because we have to forget Pertwee was a true star. He was huge and people loved it. And that's what, I mean, people did come to see Pertwee. Oh, John Pertwee's the new Doctor Who. Oh, we'll go and have a look at that. And what a season to introduce him. No wonder the ratings were on. They were
expecting comedy, I think. They were expecting comedy. I mean, by this point, he would have been about 11 or 12 years into the Navy Lark on the radio, which I think ran until 77 and was massive. It was I wouldn't say quite a Hancock's half-hour equivalent, but it was up there, and it's still fondly remembered. Yeah. And he was a major star, and to sort of like sign him for this program was quite a coup, really.
It was a coup. Yeah, it was a coup. And we all know he wasn't the first that they had in mind, but it was a coup.
Yeah. I'm so glad he didn't play it for comedy because we had that with Troughton kind of already. So having the straight version is so good. So good.
Yeah.
Agree.
Philip Roy saying to us, imagine having Season 7 and Doomwatch dropping in 1970. 2 great adult feeling science fiction shows. Absolutely. Yeah. Gosh, wow. And in colour. Doctor Who in colour. Oh gosh. And Dalek I was there, of course. He's in the chat. He was there at the time. Seeing that cover makes me miss John Pertwee even more, says John. Well, yeah.
I'm sure you've all seen there's a selection of photographs on that photo shoot. Brilliant. There's a couple when he's drawing in a fag, and then he blows the smoke to make it look more mysterious. Have you seen those photographs? They're amazing. Really good. Yeah.
Really is. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, there's lots more to come as we get this. Problem being saying, yes, very serious and no comedy at all. Shower scene, dressing up as a washwoman, etc., etc. There were exceptions.
Yeah, that wasn't constant. It wasn't every episode, was it? To be honest, but
I do love when he's doing the escape, and I know when we review it, we'll go in more detail. But when he's escaping from the hospital and he pinches that surgeon's car, and initially it goes forward, and I'm not sure if that's unscripted because the look on Pertwee's face as it goes forward,
it's been left in gear. It's so obvious he wasn't expecting that, but he does it brilliantly.
Yeah.
There's no way Pertwee was going to make such a rudimental mistake as that being the car man he was.
Exactly, yeah. I love the wheelchair scene, though, is brilliant as well when he's going down the road in the wheelchair. That's superb. That is comic, but it's brilliantly done. You know?
It's true. It is, But again, that's I always look at that scene and think, this is setting the scene for what was coming for the next 4 years with him doing something fast or the wheelchair was camp. Noodle Arms, RTD must be fuming right now. First Wallace and Gromit on Christmas Day, and now this karma strikes again. Doesn't it just?
Tough.
I love the way he's saying that because that's what they said to us all this year, isn't it? John is also saying, I think John was 55 when he started the show. Am I correct?
It's about that, yeah.
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It was. It's great to see you all. Thank you so much. Domgo is also saying to us that he's going to watch Inferno as soon as we're finished tonight. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, good. That's going to take. I hope you're off tomorrow because it's going to take you ages. And Dalek Eye is saying, I would love a straight playing Doctor again.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen, is it? Because they're so busy these days with the DEI and the tick boxing and who does what and who looks at what and all this sort of stuff. But anyway, that brings us very nicely. Don't forget, we are going to be looking at, as soon as it is official, when this little gem that we shouldn't know about or shouldn't have seen is made official from BBC Studios, we will be here back to talk about it and to look at it and to probe and investigate what is in this gorgeous looking box set. I am so excited. Make sure you join us.
So don't tell anyone that you've seen this leak.
Shh. Keep it stum. Keep it stum. Yeah. That does take us, though, to our next item here on Headlines. Yes, hello, welcome. Nice to see you all. Whose Views Headlines? It's Wednesday, the 18th of December. The countdown has well and truly started to Christmas Day. Not just here on Whose Views, not just with you guys all panicking and getting your stuffing ready and getting your sprouts on. That reminds me, if you haven't got your sprouts on yet, get them on now, because of course here in the UK it is the law. You have to have them on at least 5 days before Christmas Day to make sure.
So they're very mushy. That's the way you have to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So get them on now.
Like school dinners.
Exactly. Do you remember the sprouts at school dinner? Oh.
If you can't have your straw, if you can't have your sprouts up a straw, then they're not done right, Ali.
I remember that Christmas lunches were the big highlight of the year, of course, at primary school. And you got that, and none of you could move for the rest of the afternoon. You all had to go home early. It was brilliant. Anyway, yes, the countdown to Christmas has come. But is this? Well, yeah. Is this? Thank you. Going to be the BBC's last Christmas date with the Doctor? Well, as we've been reporting recently, it might well be. Now, I know you're all going to be absolutely gutted and disappointed to hear this, but it could be. At the moment, Joy to the World is indeed the last Doctor Who Christmas episode, because there is nothing in the can for 2025's Christmas as we are talking. All that is on the way. Stay with us, because we're going to be investigating all this right through 2025. It's going to be a great year for content. We are going to love to hear what you think about it as well. I am very excited. Bring it on, I say. But yeah, the publicity for this thing has ramped up over the last few weeks as well, hasn't it? So let's have a look at some of it. Now, Doctor Who magazine came out 2 weeks ago now. Or was it last week? I can't remember. Don't get it. As you know, I go to my local Tesco, sit down, have a coffee, and read everything. Except this time, I couldn't, because it's in one of those annoying little bags again. So I want to say a huge thank you to Bedouia, who sent all this stuff for me.
Nice. Has he stopped buying it?
He's still there. He's keeping it on the low. But one of us has to, because we have to look at the content. So thank you so much to Bedouia for sending this. This was in the Christmas edition. Yes, Joy to the World, essential information. Now, this is nothing that we didn't know about before, to be quite honest, but we're going to go through it anyway. There's some interesting stuff here, because this is an interview as well with the one and only Mr. Stephen Moffat. who, of course, has written this episode. After him saying earlier this year, guys, after Boom, do you remember that he wasn't going to write anymore?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
as he
you
said,
can
he lies,
promise.
doesn't he, allegedly? So,
Yeah, exactly. I just want to say at this point to John, who's saying to me, sorry, I like a firm sprout.
takes all sorts.
It does. We'll move on. Anyway, let's have a look at this, because this is what he was saying to Doctor Who magazine. Okay, bear with me. There's a lot of context into this, but let me know what you think about this. Here we go. This festive season, all of your Christmases will come at once, quite literally. And in Doctor Who's case, that's a lot of Christmases. In fact, one early title for this year's Doctor Who Christmas special, as officially the 15th since 2005, if you only count the episodes that have been broadcast on Christmas Day itself. Well, of course we do, Doctor Who magazine and Panini, because it's blooming Christmas specials you're talking about, not the New Year nonsense. Anyway, I digress. The original title was apparently Christmas Everywhere All at Once. I bet BBC Studios, when it comes to the marketing of this, oh, thank God they didn't go with that, because we can't get it in on the spine.
Yeah, yeah.
What a stupid title. Anyway, that's what Russell wanted to call it, says Stephen Moffat. Of course he did. Whereas I tended to call it the Time Hotel. It's a bit snappier. So it had both of those titles for a while, but then I suggested quite late in the day that we should call it Joy to the World. Of course, that's because there's a character called Joy in it. Ho, ho, ho. Let's go back to the beginning, if there can ever truly be such a thing when you're in the business of time travel. This will be the first time that the Doctor Who festive special hasn't been written by the incumbent showrunner. However, that wasn't always the plan, as Russell had originally intended to write it himself, but not long after Stephen had delivered his script for Boom, Ncuti Gatwa's debut season, Russell asked him if he'd be willing to take on an extra commission. I can tell you exactly when this all happened, because it was my son's 21st birthday, says Stephen. It was the 21st of January 2023. Me and Sue, Stephen's wife and producer of other shows, including Sherlock and Douglas is Cancelled, were at the Soho farmhouse celebrating Lewis's birthday with all his mates, having a grand old time. Boom hadn't actually been shot at this point. It was nowhere near shooting, but I had delivered the script. Although Sue Virtue was the producer of Stephen's very first Doctor Who TV work, The Curse of the Fatal Death, let's not talk about that, it's probably fair to say that she prefers it when her husband is writing scripts for the couple's independent production company, Hartswood Films. We've all heard of that, haven't we? A quarter of a century on from that comic relief spoof, I'm going to say, and almost 20 years since Stephen wrote The Empty Child the Doctor Dances, Sue might have been looking forward to having her husband back for a while. Sue had already been on at me, admits Stephen, slightly sheepishly. Is that finally it, she asked. Yes, that's it, I assured her, because she's always thinking, you're off conspiring to do another one. I know you are, but as I was sitting there talking to her during that very conversation, I looked down at my phone and there was a message from RTD saying, I'm never going to get this Christmas episode done and I've got to move on to series 2. Could you please write Christmas? It's the best spot in the year. As showrunner from 2010 to 2017, Stephen had already written 8 consecutive Doctor Who Christmas specials, but the opportunity to write one more was just too tempting. I said to Sue, I'm really sorry, but I cannot say no to that. I'm incapable of saying no, he chuckles. Well, you do to your missus, mate, I tell you. Because I love Doctor Who at Christmas. Back in the day, it was my treat. Every year I'd think, the Christmas one. Now that's going to be fun. It was always a special part of my year, and I loved it every single time.
I'm glad somebody did.
So we know, the article continues, that the Doctor arrives at a rather unusual establishment in this episode, but what exactly is the Time Hotel? Imagine a hotel chain in the far future, says Stephen. Once time travel exists, what's the first thing that the hotel chain would do? They would realize that there's an awful lot of unsold rooms in their past, so they've got another go at selling them. That's camp, isn't it? If we might be so bold, it's a concept which feels like something Douglas Adams might have come up with. Douglas, as Doctor Who magazine readers will probably know, was the writer of the would probably know. I would hope if they're a Doctor Who magazine reader and they like Doctor Who, they would know that Douglas Adams was involved with Doctor Who. Mind you, have some of these kids never heard of Douglas Adams?
Probably not. Yeah,
Wouldn't surprise me.
yeah.
Would not surprise me at all.
Isn't that shocking? You know, it's also horrifying. This is the guy that wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Dirk Gently was some of them which may have watched on Netflix. I mean, come on. Anyway, would probably know, was the writer of the whimsical Doctor Who stories Pirate Planet, City of Death, and Sharda in the late 1970s, not to mention the creator of the world-famous Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy franchise. Yes, it does, agrees Stephen. It's very Douglas. But I think that sort of idea always works well for Doctor Who. I mean, the hero arrives in a phone box. You're at a certain level of whimsy already. You can't be completely hard-edged sci-fi when you're writing Doctor Who story. He arrives in a phone box wearing silly clothes. Given the concept of the Time Hotel, it's hopefully not too much of a spoiler to point out that, just like many of Stephen's previous popular episodes, such as The Girl in the Fireplace, Blink, and The Day of the Doctor, Joy to the World involves some extensive time travel shenanigans. And yes, here it is, my most least favourite saying in the whole of this thing. Yes, it's timey-wimey, confirms Stephen. But I like the fact that the Doctor Who universe is one in which time travel is taken for granted. You can just have time travel, it's a given. Which I think is terrific. And if the main character can travel in time, why would you ignore that? The Doctor has got a very odd relationship with the universe. On a dark day, everyone is dead. On a bright day, everyone is alive. That's how the Doctor thinks as he sits brooding in his phone box. If he's feeling down, everybody's dead. I've been to all their funerals. I know where they're all buried. But on a good day, he thinks everyone's still alive. I could go and have dinner with them. This Christmas, with Ruby Sunday safely back home in her own time, the Doctor is traveling alone. The Doctor being alone at Christmas has become a bit of a theme, points out Stephen. Yeah, I think we've got that one, haven't we, everybody?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not just a theme now. It's just a bit of a repetition, is it not? It's a bit boring now, surely. You know. Anyway, it goes on to all this stuff saying, yeah, so much so that in the first two I wrote, 2010's Christmas Carol and 2011's The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, the regular companions barely feature. And then the Doctor is very alone at the beginning of The Snowmen from 2012. He's isolated himself and he does not save the world anymore. And in Time of the Doctor 2013, he sends Clara away and he lives for 1,000 years on Trenzalore battling various monsters. Just as in earlier Christmas episodes, such as Runaway Bride, The Voyage of the Damned and The Next Doctor, when the Doctor traveling solo arrives in the episode, he meets a temporary companion for the rest of the adventure. I mean, part of the reason this happens is because we're frequently between regular companions between seasons, points out Stephen. I wonder why. And it helps motivate the Doctor to start a new friendship. He disposes of one friend and then looks around the room and picks another one. The Doctor arriving alone actually becomes very central to this story. He has self-motivation problems as he doesn't quite know what he's doing unless there's someone to show off to. With that in mind, let's talk about Joy, played by Irish actress Nicola Coughlan. Nicola, best known for Claire Devlin in Channel 4's Derry Girls and Penelope Bridgerton in Netflix Bridgerton. Nicola is wonderful, praises Stephen. I had seen her in Derry Girls, but she seems to have become an even bigger name since we made this episode, which was over a year ago. She was already a big guest star for us to land, but even more so a year later. So what sort of person is Joy? There's a reference in the script to Joy's tremendous, charming smile, but underneath it, she's very sad, reveals Stephen. The Doctor says, your smile is like a lid on a boiling pot. And I think Nicola is great for that. Joy's first entry into the story, as you'll know from the pre-title scene, that was released a while back, is when she steps out of the taxi into a close-up, and it's such a star entrance. That was kind of nothing moment in the script, but when you see it on screen, you think, whoa, the star has arrived. Is this selling it to you guys?
No.
Okay, all right.
You're reading it beautifully, but the story's not very interesting.
Yeah, this is what I want to ask everybody when we finally get to the chat. We haven't got long to go now on this one. I'm going to skip ahead to this bit here on a paragraph on the second column. You've also probably noticed the presence of a Silurian, the reptile race who we last glimpsed on screen, albeit fleetingly, in 2015's Face the Raven, did we?
Can't remember.
Can't remember either, no.
Does anybody remember that? That's the one Clara got allegedly bumped off in, isn't it?
Yeah, allegedly, yeah.
I don't.
Until she wasn't, yeah.
Yeah. So there was.
Yes.
There was a. Anyway. Okay, so none of us remember that. This particular Silurian is a manager at the Time Hotel, and he's played by Jonathan Harris, as we've reported before on headlines. I already knew Jonathan from working with him a couple of times before, says Stephen. He played Anderson, the much loathed forensic scientist whom Sherlock hated in several episodes. And he was also the brave sea captain in episode 2 of Dracula. He's really plugging his shows here. He's a terrific actor. Yes. It was during Stephen's era as showrunner that the Silurians returned to Doctor Who for the first time since Warriors of the Deep. In The Hungry Earth, the creatures were redesigned to give them a more humanoid appearance, marking a departure from their previous look. We've discussed that here on the show as well. However, Stephen reveals that he hadn't originally planned to feature a Silurian in Joy to the World. In the script, it was originally just a reptile man, he tells us. It was when we were having our usual meetings that I said, well, he could be a Silurian, as that would make total sense in the context of the Time Hotel, would it? And so that's when we decided to change him to a Silurian. But also, those are great prosthetic masks because you can really act through them. Johnny is so recognizable in that mask. and he has the full range of facial expressions. Now, the article does go on a bit. We've got that from there as well, where it goes on to that. I'll leave that up screen there for a little while as well. Yes, so there you go. It doesn't offer anything new, guys. But from that bit there, what did you guys think of what he was saying there about Joy to the World?
It just sounds really dull and repetitive and boring. I mean, the actual concept, the idea of the time travel hotel sounds quite interesting, but it's not. It's just going to be repetitive, isn't it? It's going to be timey-wimey, back and forth in time, like Meglos, that loop thing. It'll be like that, wouldn't it? Or something like really bizarre and boring, wouldn't it?
A chronic hysteresis, and it'll be chronic something else instead, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't sound inspiring. I don't like what he says about the Silurian mask being, you can recognize the actor in it. That's not the point of a monster mask.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. It doesn't allow you to suspend your disbelief if you can see the actor you've seen in Sherlock.
Yeah.
Prancing around with a bit of scales stuck to his face. But the way Moffat describes the story as well is like, it's always a bit whimsical. The Doctor lands in a phone box. He bloody doesn't. He lands in a very, very, very sophisticated time-space machine that's disguised as a police box. It's not actually a phone box. It's not actually a police box. It's not that simplistic. But maybe that's how Moffat understands it. Maybe he's never really grasped what it is all along. I mean, it's clear Russell T Davies hasn't. So,
but the TARDIS is just a doorway to storytelling. That's the thing. And if it gets overused, it gets the kind of the mystery of the TARDIS gets lost. It should arrive there and get on with the adventure. Forget about the TARDIS.
Overused like the Sonic sex toy and everything else. It's just ridiculous.
Well, look at season 7. There's no TARDIS in that. There we are. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not really missed, is it, by the public?
No.
Because they understand the fact. There you are. A lot of comments coming through on that one as well. And I just want to start off with Stevens here, because I read that bit, and the reference to Douglas Adams is always going to be very dodgy to me.
Yeah.
But I have this theory, Who viewers, that RTD and Moffat for 20 years now have both been called geniuses in and out of their industry. Doctor Who magazine, various TV shows, they've all jumped on this bandwagon of, they're geniuses. Now, when you look at it as well, a lot of the stuff that they did from 2005 onwards, in my opinion, it's not the work of geniuses. It's what was being done in the wilderness years. If you were around then, there was an awful lot of good genius stuff back then, and then they just transferred it all into television, and they get the credit for it. And I remember years ago as well, guys, an article in Doctor Who magazine as well, I'm sure it was Doctor Who magazine, that said, in a retrospective of 26 years of superior time travel telly, for a show about time travel, it didn't actually use time travel properly or frequently. And I think Stephen Moffat read that and thought, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's these little bits of information. It was like the other thing about, the companions weren't up there. You know what? We'll remodel that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my theory, because they were around with us reading the same things as all as us. And there were just certain things that have come along since 2005 where I thought I read that article as well. But we've got Stephen Braddock saying to us, JT, it wouldn't surprise me that they don't know Douglas Adams. So we're talking to fans here about fans. I spoke to a fan today who doesn't watch Classic Who at all because there are no weeping angels in them. How sad.
Really sad.
You should watch Classic Doctor Who because there are no weeping angels in it.
Yeah.
Good concept once, flogged to death since.
Yeah, they should have been left in Blink. I totally believe that. Should have been left there. We've got an awful lot of comments from you. Thank you for everybody here. Let's get through some of these before we carry on with what the guys want to talk about with this, with the reaction to the Doctor Who magazine interview in the latest edition with Stephen Moffat. The Ark in Space saying, what a right turkey this sounds. It's served with lumpy gravy. Yeah, well,
the turkey will be underdone or burnt either way. Yeah.
Eddie is saying to us, of course, Doctor Who can be completely hard-edged sci-fi, Mr. Moffat, especially if you're not busy dumbing down the other characters, including the Sontarans. And I would also add to that the Silurians as well. Don't forget, earlier this year, we did our Silurians and Sea Devil tribute series. We've got one more episode for that left for you into 2025. It's the Sea Devils review. But we were talking about the lack of awareness of what the Silurians are, the rejected masks for the Silurians, how it was dumbed down because it's easier to act through the mask. We don't want to see some of the actors sometimes, do we? As Doctor Who fans, as you were saying, well, we want to see the monster. We don't want to see the actor. We don't.
Yeah.
We want to see them in a
If they're
suit.
good actors, they can pull it off in a mask.
Well, you
Well, all
just have
the
to
other-
look at
all the other guys-
Silurians and the way they had the voiceover done by Peter Halliday, and the actors like the Daleks are responding to the voice.
Yes.
And it's done really, really well. And they're acting their hearts out, and they're doing it. They're playing through the mask, and it really works because the mask is so alien. It's brilliant, you know.
Well, there's two actors that spring to mind. Stephen Thorne, for
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and then Gabrielle for Sutek.
Yeah.
Never seen.
Yeah.
But because they were good actors, it was down to the voice, it was down to the projection, whatever. Why did the 21st century Doctor Who have to be different? Oh, because that's how TV's made now. I bet you, please, it really makes me ill. Robert Payne, the Doctor has self-motivational problems. He's over 2,000 years old. Hasn't he learned anything?
Yeah, he should have grown up by now, surely.
Well, obviously he hasn't. We're looking at the latest version of him.
Yeah.
And Julianne saying to us, timey-wimey BS, just a lot of words. I have no interest in it at all. Julianne, I'm with you. You know that. I can't stand that. When I first heard that, whatever story it was it Blink? I thought, oh, that's one for the kids. And it seems to hang around all this time. Oh, please. You can even get on blooming T-shirts.
I did enjoy, though, when John Hurt berated them about it in Day of the Doctor. That was quite funny, though. But,
oh yeah, I see that point now. But I think that was them. I think that was them actually admitting, wasn't it? It was Moffat admitting that. Oh gosh, some of the older fans don't like this.
Yeah.
But it was juvenile nonsense, wasn't it? Timey-wimey. The Doctor wouldn't say. Well, our Doctor wouldn't say that. These guys are older than me, says Peter Venkman fan site, and yet they seem to have done less observation about the Doctor than me.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be fans, aren't they? Peter Venkman fan site. They're supposed to be fans. The article was tedious, says Legion of James. Yeah, it was an actual article from Doctor Who magazine that I was reading out there. The problem being said, I zoned out about 10 minutes ago. Well, I hope you're back with us now.
Well, let me say, I don't think it sells the story at all, does it? Because it doesn't sound engaging at all. And if that's all it is, I think I'll be sleeping during most of it, probably.
Well, we will soon find out, of course, because coming soon to Who's Views is our review of Joy to the World. More about that when we're back here on Headlines on Sunday. Okay, Raymond is with us. Hello, Raymond. No drama. It's all hammy, unrealistic tosh.
If Moffat thinks it can't be hard-edged, let's just point him towards the box set of season 7.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to see that go straight to number 1.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raymond. It's great to see you. And Robert's saying to us again, Robert Payne, Earth to Moffat. Your old audience doesn't really care anymore. Thank your friends RTD and Chibnall for that. That's a good point, though, isn't it, guys? Yeah, because we were there for Moffat. Most of us were still there for Moffat. His version of Doctor Who, although I didn't agree with, I'd say about 70 to 80% of it, depending which episode I'm watching or watched. We were all still there, hanging in, waiting for something good.
Yeah.
Or was that
mainly because Capaldi was so good? Yeah.
Well, I think for me, it started going off the rails with some of those stories that the scripts that Smith was handed.
Oh, yeah, as well. Yeah.
Series 7. Please. Not worth getting out of bed for it in my eyes. Dongo wants to know, why would the Siluria wear a effing suit?
Good question.
Well, one of them turned out to be...
Yeah.
It's Moffat.
But she wasn't wearing a suit, was she?
No, she was wearing some sort of ridiculous funereal Mary Poppins
Victorian garb, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. An umbrella. Shocking. So I don't know. I mean, the answer I would say is it's Moffat, it's RTD, it's the BBC, it's DEI. And it's fun. They seem to think it's fun taking these wonderful characters and putting this, like they did with that stupid Santara, and making him into a servant.
What I don't understand, though, is if he goes back in time, and the Silurians have, they got a hotel chain. So Premier Inn or other hotels are available, started back in Jurassic times, did it? That was started, or how does that work?
Well, we'll soon find out, won't we? But
obviously, they've got all these rooms available through time. The hotel has got to have existed through time, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it must be a huge, big chain that's been handed down through the generations, and then suddenly time travel comes around. We'll be finding out very soon.
So the Hilton family are Silurians to start off with, and that's how it all happened. Yeah.
I don't think it's the Silurian family. I think he's just the manager.
Right.
So I'm sure that'll be explained. I don't get the feeling that he owns it. I think he's just a member of staff.
Right.
I think he's the hotel manager. Maybe there's somebody sinister who owns the hotel chain. I don't know.
The Rani, best the Rani.
Oh,
can you imagine though? You're watching the season 7 box set, you've just come off the absolute visual perfection that is Spearhead, and you've gone straight in to the stunning drama that is the Silurians. And you're watching it, and you've got these reptiles conspiring against the humans and conspiring against each other, and which gives them that extra dimension, doesn't it? And then they release that virus, and it all becomes very real. Again, we've only got to think back 4 or 5 years to how real that could have been. And you're looking at these Silurians that are massacring humans, and you're thinking, and then one of them is the manager of a hotel that goes through. It's just like, no, I'm sorry, this isn't the same series. It's just not.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. I mean, I've said it before. It's not the same. I mean, it's theirs now. This thing is 20 years old in 2025, and by God, it shows. It really. It's so tired, and they've tried to be whimsical, and they've tried to be clever, and they've tried to be controversial. Sometimes for the sake of just doing it to upset the fandom, as we all know. So it's a waste of time now, isn't it? Because the fan base has just gone, as you've just said, Ian, quite rightly, this isn't Doctor Who. And as Robert's saying, as Mudcrab is saying here, Paul, why would he have facial expressions? He's a sodding reptile.
Yeah. I was going to say it's just become so self-aware, it's re-up itself, and it's not taking itself seriously at all. And I remember Verity Lambert say something similar about 80s Doctor Who, and I think she'd be turning in her grave if she saw it now, I'm telling you. Yeah.
I think so too. What Paul's referring to there is that in the Wilderness years, Verity had referred to the late 80s of Doctor Who, saying no one was looking after it. She thought it was silly. It was just rushed out, and she wasn't impressed with it at all. I can see her point. I don't necessarily agree, but I can see her point. Yeah. I use those words today when I'm arguing with people on social media. I say nobody's looking after it. They haven't got the ability to write it. They don't understand the show anymore. It just looks shoddy. And that's why I say then eventually, which upsets a minority of people, take it off the air, because it's embarrassing to proper Doctor Who fans. Because if you say to somebody, even at our ages now, if you say to somebody, oh, I'm a Doctor Who fan, they'll immediately think of the thing they've last seen. Yeah. It's like I was saying the other week, wasn't it? Somebody said to me, that's still on. Oh, it was terrible when I saw it. And then they referred to an episode I hadn't seen because it starred Whittaker. Yeah. So that shows how far back that person hadn't seen it for. I can't remember what she was even saying. I was like, oh, no, I feel guilty, and I'm rushing to say, that's not the version I like. Oh, which version do you like? And then I'll say Tom Baker. Oh, Tom Baker, John Pertwee. Because don't forget, a lot of people who are younger than the age I am now found that in the Wilderness years, thanks to UK Gold. Yeah. Fabulous. Yeah. Pete Harrington's saying to us guys that will make lovely toilet paper, plenty of pages. And
too shiny for that. Yeah.
Too shiny, and also very expensive. Julianne's saying to us, he goes on longer than the script. Yawn. Problem being, saying to us, we know it's not going to be interesting, as every time we thought it might be, it never was. A great point, PB. Isn't that a good point? Yeah, and that's why I was hanging on in the latter Moffat years, from season 7 onwards. I was waiting for something good to happen. The nearest I think I got to it was Deep Breath. Yeah, and
that's why we came back for season 1, thinking, oh, this might be quite good, maybe, and it wasn't each time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. William Orlock, nice to see you, William. And also nice to see Daryl. Daryl's in the chat as well. Nice to see you all. William Orlock, 86, is saying Moffat's whole career is pretty much down to a nepotistic marriage. Ooh, allegedly. Better pop that in there.
Nice work if you can get it. Yeah. So.
Yes. Isn't that show business these days?
It probably is. Yeah.
It's not what you know; it's who you know these days. I mean, look at the world of Doctor Who. Look how many people of their little circle they've employed over the last 20 years, and they've gone. They've gone on. I was watching. I couldn't believe this. I was watching on the Blu-ray the other day. I was catching up with a film. I love the Mission Impossible film series. Don't hate me, with Tom Cruise. I love them. I can sit down with a cup of tea and watch them so happily. So I was catching up with Dead Reckoning Part 1 on Blu-ray, which I treated myself to, and we're sitting down, getting into it, thinking, oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. I'm really getting into it. Ooh. And then Mark Gatiss turns up in it.
Yeah.
Sort of took me out of the film for a minute. I thought, no disrespect, but tough. It did. It just took me out for a little while. And I just thought, oh no, what's that? But that's, I mean, look how well they've done out of the show, out of our show, and us supporting them. And then suddenly they forget that. You know, they do forget.
They mention his who he's married to, but it also didn't stop there, did it? Because Beryl Virtue, his mother-in-law, was a major player in the game going right back to the 1950s and 60s, wasn't she, with Hancock and Spike Milligan and people like that?
Yeah.
And was she agent for Galton and Simpson as well?
I think so.
I think she was.
I think so. Yeah.
That's going back all there, and he's just basically tapped into all that lineage. It's quite a significant foot up, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And they forget actually that they have been successful because of the work of a lot of others, 26 years of that, because they tried to build on that legacy, but they forget that they're successful because of fans, the fans that they told to go and touch grass, or this isn't for you, over the last several years. That how ungrateful are they? And yet they are very well off financially. They've done very well. Yes, I'm not taking away from them. They have worked hard in what they think they're doing a right job, but no, you were only there because of us supporting you back in 2005, finding a new audience for you and bringing people into it. And to be treated like that, I've got no sympathy for you if this thing flops. I'm looking forward to ratings again on headlines. As soon as we have the ratings, watch out, because we will be here. Bedouin will be joining us with a ratings analysis. I know a lot of you like that feature that we ran after our little what was it, season 1 series here on Headlines, but we're going to be bringing it back, so looking forward to that. But Babette Bombshell's with us saying, I feel like at the end of the Christmas special I'll be asked to buy a timeshare. Probably sign nothing. And seeing a Silurian,
you got a free watch as well afterwards.
John's saying seeing a Silurian in a shirt and tie is ridiculous. As Ian was saying there, John, can you imagine that in the Silurians? No, because it's a proper show. It's a proper show. And again, if you're new to us, welcome. Please subscribe. You can go back and look at our Silurian review that we did a few months back, celebrating the Silurians and Sea Devils. You can have a look at that, and you can see how much we love the Silurians. And as I say, we've got one episode left for you. That it's the Sea Devils. We will be reviewing that in 2025, and I think you might be able to guess just when.
I have to blame Michael Bryant for dressing the Sea Devils up in the first place. That started it all, didn't it? Giving them a string dress. That was it. That was the start of it.
Yeah. What's the next step, says Komodo? Someone with green face paint, and that's a Silurian? Very probably. And also from Paul Stenford, is it really too much to ask to have Silurians who actually look like Silurians? When's the season 7 box set out again? Well, the answer to that, of course, is yes.
Yeah.
And you must like it. Otherwise, you'll be a phobe or not. We don't know when the season 7 box set will be out. We think it's, Paul.
I was going to say, we've heard roughly rumours it could be the 24th of February. But that's just a rumour. Could be completely fake. So
we don't know. We will be telling you as soon as we do know. Stay with us here on the channel. Lee Smith is with us. Turkey giblets. Oh, well, pop them on. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, yes. For this, yes. Robert is also saying the Weeping Angels were changed every time they were shown. I can't remember.
Yeah, they did develop a bit. Yeah. Conveniently.
Yeah, very conveniently. A lot of comments. It is great to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Headlines as we creep up towards Christmas. So exciting. And Joy to the World. Not so exciting. We've got here as well Sir Sidney Rough Diamond. Hello. And he's saying Gatiss did a dreadful adaptation of First Man in the Moon, didn't he? Just wasn't that terrible?
I didn't hear that, but that is a classic film.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, great.
I love it.
Lionel Jeffries, Edward Judge, great film.
Yeah.
Fabulous names, eh? Yeah, it was a great film. That I mean, I did listen to that, and I couldn't listen to it. I gave up about halfway through. It must have been. It might not even been that. I thought I can't listen to this. Again, he was trying to be clever. They were trying this whole thing about putting like twists on things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's bring Sherlock into the modern age. Oh.
Yeah.
Now I want him with his Deerstalker and his outfit and Dr. Watson and Horse and Carriages and Foggy London and Mystery and.
Did they ever do that? Because I did see Benedict Cumberbatch and I've forgotten the other guy who plays Watson dressed as Victorian versions. Did they do a Victorian episode? I didn't see it.
It was a bit of a kind of wasn't really. I don't think it was really legitimately a Victorian one, but it was definitely done, and more for effect than anything else. I think it'd already gone well off the boil by then.
Yeah. Well, they did it with Basil Rathbone, didn't they, in the 40s as propaganda movies. It was Sherlock Holmes meets the naughty Germans. Remember that one?
Yeah. Well, there was rumours this week as well. I'm not going to go into it because it's not the time for it. But there's rumours that Moffat may be looking on how to do something back. But you're never going to get Benedict Cumberbatch now, are you? He's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
And Martin Thingy after The Hobbit. What's his name?
Yeah. Martin Freeman, isn't it? Freeman, yeah.
Freeman. Well done, you.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, they both charge far too much now, I reckon.
Well, they're both doing Marvel things, aren't they? I mean, he's Benedict's doing he's Doctor Strange, isn't he, at the moment?
So yeah. Guys in the chat will know more about that than me, to be honest. I don't know if they're going again with it. I like this from the Jamie9526. Yes, the Jamie9526. Nice to see you. Have never been wishing so hard for an actor and showrunner to move on as much as this. Honestly, I was less fussed about Whittaker than this, and in retrospect, would rather Chibbs had stayed. Yeah, really? That's really saying something.
I'm not so sure.
Well, I kind of feel slightly similar. I hated the Whittaker, but I hate this even more, which is worse. You know, this is much worse. And looking back retrospectively, I think actually was it that bad compared to this?
See, that's the thing.
Weird.
I think they should have. I just want to say yes to the Ark in Space. Nobody beats Jeremy Brett. That's my Sherlock. Love his performance. What a guy. I used to love that. I used to watch it religiously. And at the time, it was him as my Sherlock and the late, great Joan Hickson as my Miss Marple. What a time to be watching telly, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the point. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, that's why I think they should have just left it go at the end of Whittaker when they were all released from contract. And it was all done and dusted, and the thing was panning out from wherever she was regenerating. I think they should have just let it go. But no, Catherine Tate, RTD, Tennant had to open their big mouths. You know, what a shame. We've got a question from Entertainment Creators saying, what's the best Silurian story in Doctor Who?
The Silurians. Sorry, Doctor Who and the Silurians, beg your pardon, sir. Yeah.
And we are unanimous in that.
We are, yes.
To quote a fabulous character. Yeah, it has to be Doctor Who and the Silurians.
Yeah.
No
That's
question.
Mrs. Slocum, isn't it?
It is Mrs. Slocum and her pussy. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, we are unanimous in that. It's Doctor Who and the Silurians, hands down. And for me, as I think I said in our review, had they left the Silurians there, I would have been happy.
Yeah.
And the Sea Devils and the Sea Devils. Because even then they were saying, well, we don't want to bring the Silurians back. We'll do a cousin. We'll do the aquatic version. And that works as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing about hello to Dim Orpin, who's just joined us in the chat. This whole thing about relying on proper Doctor Who monsters.
But that's the thing. Proper Doctor Who created their own things and made them work. They need to do the same thing, you know, because the genius of Bylets and Turn Sticks, some of those creations are amazing.
Yeah.
Draconians, Sea Devils, Silurians, Autons, etc. There's loads of them, and they're great.
And the Draconians and the Ogrons and things like that, that's how you do an alien with a bit of a actor's facial feature still showing. That's how you do it. Not like this prat of a Silurian or anything like that. And they're derivative because they aren't good enough to do them themselves.
Yeah.
They just aren't. He showed that right from the off when he ripped off Spearhead.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact in the Bylets era they created the Sontarans as well, which have never been bettered since the Time Warrior ever. You know?
No, and yet they've tried. I mean, you could argue, as some people do, it brought these classic monsters to a new audience. I argue the other way, saying, well, if the new audience wanted to go and see them, it's all there.
Yeah,
it's all there. Get off your bums and go and see it. And then to reinvent them like they did. Because I remember when they brought back the Sontarans, I remember thinking, oh, please, really? Really? The look of them, the characters, it didn't work for me and hasn't done since. I haven't seen them in the Chibnall era, of course, because I haven't seen any of that. So I'm not going to comment on that. But no, it didn't work for me. Babette Bombshell saying, it becomes obvious that they have no idea how to move Doctor Who forward. When you see them watering down classic monsters, turning Sontarans into chocoholic comic relief. Really? And
that was in the Whittaker era. Yeah. They started off. They brought them back, and they were quite serious. And then later on in Flux, they were comic again, which is such a shame. But
again, if you watch and we've just had the anniversary of it, I think, haven't we? Of the Time Warrior. If you watch Lynx in the Time Warrior, the absolute best Sontaran ever, best suit, best costume, best performance. I know he obviously, same actor appeared in Sontaran Experiment, but in Time Warrior just nails it from the off. And if you see that and you think, oh yeah, there's a clone of him that's a waiter and is a chocoholic.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I'm sorry, that's not the same series. That's a comedy Mickey take. That's not the same series. Just the same with the Silurian and everything. It's
because the Sontarans or Lynx particularly, they're really vicious creatures. They need to be taken seriously to work, you know. But
well, yeah.
And that's what Kevin Lindsay does. He does it really straight, and he's brilliant. And some very funny lines he's got, but he doesn't send them up, you know.
Yeah. We've got the timescale saying to us, it seems odd that Doctor Who has only had 3 showrunners in the last 20 years. This is the different thing. I mean, this has been a new format for Doctor Who since 2005, because we didn't have really showrunners. We had paid for by the BBC producers and script editors, and they would get changed. In the old days, the BBC, right, you've done so many years now, you're going to that job. And sometimes they had the choice, and sometimes they would go to the head of department and say, I've done this for so many years, I want to go somewhere else. So in the case of like Philip, he got moved, Mr. Hinchcliffe. Others may have gone and said, I'd like to do something else. So it depends. This time around, the whole thing is that they based it on the American system of having a showrunner who would be there until basically they wanted to leave, or something went disastrously wrong and they were removed.
I think it was Innes Lloyd said this. I remember seeing this in Doctor Who magazine a while ago, an interview with him saying that if you stay too long, you get self-indulgent, and that's what's happened. You know, you
can see that, can't you? Because they're so up themselves now. We're right, you're wrong. We're giving you this, you'll like it or lump it. Well, we lumped it and we left. And your viewing figures are in the toilet. And I can't wait to see what this Christmas one is going to do. We've got Stephen Braddock also saying to us, the new series seems to be incapable of creating new monsters for the ages. The Ice Warriors, the Sontarans, the Ogrons, and the Zygons were all new once. Stop changing our classic monsters. Make new ones. They can't. Because again, that's the problem, I think, Stephen, with putting fans in these positions. Oh, I'll bring my favorite monster in. You know, I'm waiting for the Drashigs to appear at some point as some sort of real puppet. You know, it's just nonsense, isn't it? And they'll be misunderstood because they are. You know, that's the problem with fans. If you bring new writers into it now, especially now you've only got 8 episodes, and you went back and had a producer and a script editor who did the jobs of producing and script editing, you wouldn't get the ego as much, because they would have to change the writers. You get 8 writers, all bringing in something possibly fresh and new, which is exactly what I think Doctor Who needs now. I think that's why it needs to come off, because it's so tired. You can see it's 20. And I think they're also desperate, guys, to try and make it feel fresh by coming up with all these spins and and they're not getting there. Do you know what I mean?
But just remember what Russell T Davies said a few months ago. Nobody would dare script edit him.
He did. We reported it live here on the show, didn't we? But absolutely right. Yokai63. Hello, lovely. How are you? The episode Rose was like Spearhead from Space with its brains kicked in. I knew it was a rubbish reboot right from the start. Yeah. I didn't, I have to be honest, because I watched Rose and thought, oh, I know where this has come from. It was like watching that new version of Star Wars and realizing it was the original Star Wars, just rubbish. You know,
repackaged.
And they tend to do that. These people, don't they? They take a script that's been huge and they rewrite it to suit themselves, and it's never as good. But I remember thinking, oh, this is a bit familiar in elements, but it had the desired effect. It got over 10 million people overnight here in the UK, which is how we actually judged the ratings back then. And I thought, no, okay, I remember speaking to a friend of mine who I've since lost touch with, and phoning him up and saying, I actually quite enjoyed that. And do you know what? It's back next week, so I can judge a whole 13 weeks rather than one episode. Actually, I think Rose, guys, is actually the weakest of series 1.
Yeah, it's not a very strong episode, really. I don't think it does the job. I agree with you, but I think there's better episodes that goes on. In fact, I prefer the week after. The End of the World is much more interesting, I think.
It is.
Yeah, I think so, because it goes off and shows you all these various bad. Some of them are baddies.
I'm glad they did that though, because they didn't chicken out of of not having any monsters, because I think that's what they've done now. They're afraid of monsters now. It's a shame, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're not allowed to show monsters anymore because
Yeah.
you've got to see the good in everybody now, haven't you? Unless they're an istophobe or an ot, in which case bring them down. Komodo, maybe they're humanizing the monsters because it's easier for merchandise. I don't think so, because, you know, if you look at the success, the huge success character options are having with proper Doctor Who action figures. We've had the Crinoids, we've had the Axons. We've had all sorts. We've had
that was the same one painted, JT. They just painted that one.
Shut up! Yeah. Well, it was in the TV show as well. What you talking about?
I know.
So that was an easy
So
for
it's authentic.
We've had the Warriors of the Deep, Silurians. We've had the Sea Devils back then. We've had the original Zygons. We've had the Mummies. So I'm looking around at me now. Yeah, look, we've had Bok. So I don't think it is. Oh, that beautiful, yeah, the Vok robots, yeah. The Master from the Deadly Assassin. Oh, we've had loads, haven't we? We've had loads. Looking around, we see the Fendal. We've got a Fendal over there.
Yeah.
The Drashig's my favourite. That's superb.
The Drashig is pretty cool, yeah. The Gelgard from Omega.
Yeah. So, no, I don't think it's because of that at all. I think it's because of all the nonsense that's going on, Komodo, with respect. And Doctor Who's a pantomime now, says Domgo. Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is.
Thank you. A bit late, but you got there.
Demorphin
is saying to us here as well, excellent Silurian comparison, what a crime. Well, the crime continues, to be quite honest, actually, because yes, as is traditional here on Who's Views, it's that time now where we look toward the next Doctor Who episode in the British TV listings magazines. Yes, contain your excitement. And before we go on to that, let's just answer this from the Jamie9526. Has there been an Anthony Ainley master figure? Yes, there has, and it's now extremely rare. It was in with a 5th Doctor Peter Davison figure from Planet of Fire.
And that lovely black suit, yeah.
Yeah, but it's now extremely rare. If you find it, good luck to you.
Did they not do one in his original sort of tree mask type like costume? No.
They haven't yet, so I am absolutely convinced at some point character will re-release that version from Planet of Fire, and they'll also do the traditional velvet suit because it's the master, and why wouldn't you? Carwin is saying excitement is contained. Good. And so Stephen,
you could argue that Ainley in the suit is actually Chameleon.
Yes, and that's what Problem Being is saying here. But you could use it as Ainley if you're playing with them. But why you would want to take them out the box?
You need interchangeable heads for that, though, with what's his name, Dallas's head on it and things like that. You know, that
a bit of silver paint.
Yeah.
Hello to Richard. Richard Brooks has joined us. Hello, Richard. Hope you are well. Doctor Wu is doomed. The audience will not return or reappear. Good riddance. Well, that's our theory here on Who's Views. Of course, it is. We will be finding that out, as I say, when we look at the ratings here on Headlines after Joy to the World. More news about that. You have to come back. I'm going to tease you all. I see all the questions. You've got to come back Sunday, live from 8 o'clock UK time for our usual Headlines slot. Bit of a Christmas flavour going on. Bring a mince pie or two, everybody. But we are going to be looking at that, and we're going to be talking more about that. But yes, as I say, I did my usual, now traditional thing on here on Who's Views by going to my local Tesco and ordering a lovely coffee, speaking to the girls that work in there. Good evening to them. They are fabulous. And looking at all the TV listings magazines just to bring you information here on Headlines so you don't have to go and buy them. It's also, I think, quite interesting for you if you're outside the UK, because this is what we have to put up with now. Right, this time round, unlike the coverage we have for season 1, you'll be pleased to know, surprisingly, there's not that much for this Joy to the World, the BBC Studios, Bad Wolf, Disney Plus, big spectacular Christmas Day offering. Isn't that weird? Or is it? Let's have a look at this. We're going to start, first of all, with this. Now, 2 of our TV listings magazine did the same sort of thing, which they must be livid over, which was the top 10 type of telly for them, you know. So we'll start with this from the Radio Times. As you can see there, do forgive the lights from my local supermarket, but look, Doctor Who is in here, 12 Christmas Treats, at number 2, following the Gavin and Stacey farewell special, and then just one before what is surely going to be the biggest hit on Christmas Day at that particular moment. It's the Wallace and Gromit film, the new Wallace and Gromit. Doctor Who's at number 2.
Yeah, so this is in order of popularity, is it?
This is what they're recommending.
Yeah.
So at number 1, Gavin and Stacey. At number 2, Doctor Who. And at number 3, Wallace and Gromit. At number 4, outnumbered, etc., 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 etc. Right.
Is that All Creatures Getting Small at number 5? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah,
now I
yeah.
just want to mention that as well. The All Creatures Great and Small Christmas special is on this Monday at 9 o'clock, clashing with the War Games in colour on BBC4. Which one will you be watching?
Which one will you be watching? The question.
I'll be at my
I know
mum's
the answer to
watching All
that one
Creatures
anyway.
Great and
Yeah.
Small. Yeah. More about that coming up on Sunday as well with the War Games, everybody. So listen, there we go again. That was the Radio Times version, okay? Doctor Who at number 2. Now, strangely, the Radio Times' biggest competitor from the old days, of course, is the TV Times, strangely. And they did the same thing. 12 tremendous treats. And Doctor Who is at number 6.
I'm surprised it's in the top 10.
Yeah.
Totally different what they're selecting. Look at that. You know, totally different. Wallace Gromit is at number 7. Are these people mad? The New Year edition, The Farewell to Vera, which used to be, until it went all DEI conscious, one of my favorite detective stories with the beautiful, the gorgeous, the much talented Brenda Blethyn. She's a wonderful actress. That's at number 8. But Doctor Who hits in there at number 6. Already, when I was reading this, I'm starting to feel, hang on a sec, something's not right. Because 10 years ago, that would have been number 1. Doctor Who would have been number 1. You know,
Why Wallace and Gromit's not number 1 in both cases? I'm not
Yeah,
quite
I
sure.
don't get that at all.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
I'm very surprised by that. Really surprised by that. Thank you, everybody.
It'll be number 1 in the ratings, won't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen Braddock is saying there's no way Wallace and Gromit will smash it. Of course it will. As the guys are just saying here, that is huge. And Paul Rose saying to me, wow, JT, second most anticipated Xmas program. They really are completely self-deluded, aren't they? Anthony Parkinson, RTD still shilling for the BBC. And John is saying he's going to be watching All Creatures No Contest. Michael Q also saying God save us. Dalek Eye, All Creatures for me. Let's carry on with this then. Are these lists in broadcast order, said Mudcrap? Isn't Wallace and Gromit going to be shown after Doctor Who? No, they're not. The whole point of these two things is it's what the magazine editors and the editorial team are saying are their top picks. So I'll show you them again, Mudcrab. 12 Christmas treats as recommended by the Radio Times staff. They recommend that their second biggest viewing over the Christmas period is going to be Doctor Who, whereas over at the TV Times, they're saying Doctor Who is going to be their 6th favourite. We call the Midwife at number 2.
So number 1 is My Epic Camel Adventure.
I thought ITV would have had Bullseye in there somewhere. It's not. I'm disappointed.
Can't beat the Brilla Bully. Yes, My Epic Camel Adventure is the TV Times pick at number 1 over Christmas. I don't know much about it, but they're all excited about it. They beat Wallace and Gromit. I bet you it does really badly in the ratings. I don't know anything about it, so apologies if anybody's watching, but please.
It'll beat Doctor Who, though, I'd imagine.
Babette Bombshell saying to us, this series has lost so much integrity now that it will be harder and harder to get famous actors to appear in it. Casting the Doctor will be a shower of no's. That's the other thing that's got to be considered when it comes to that.
They might get an actor who can actually act doing it, and an unknown actor like they used to do, you know. But
I don't think they will now. I think, as you said on either the last headlines or the previous headlines, we're down to the Paul Daniels is the Doctor level now.
Yeah.
Gone is the Christopher Eccleston is the Doctor. Now we're back down to that, aren't we, Ian?
Alan Carr for the Doctor. That's it next time.
Oh, don't that man! Oh, to see all the criticism he's getting about the bloody Variety.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, got no sympathy for him. Anyway, never mind. There we go. So let's carry on with this look as we get into the TV listings magazines. Now, as usual, I was looking for the Doctor on the covers of the TV listings magazines. Well, no, they're all like this. This is what's on TV. And as you can see, or not see, he's not there.
Yeah, not even a little picture of him, no.
No, he's not there. Now, that is now what's on TV, as you can see here, it's £1.70 for their double issue. Okay. This is actually one of the biggest selling, I'm led to believe, one of the biggest selling TV listings magazines at Christmas now. What's on TV? Because the Radio Times and the TV Times now have spines. They are that posh.
And they're about 40 quid a go, aren't they? Something like that.
I think they were about £4.99 or something like
Yeah.
that, £5.99 each. I don't know. I just want to reiterate. I put them back on the shelf after my coffee. Thanks, girls. But yeah, so what's on TV is one of the biggest selling, and there's no Doctor Who. Now, I would be worried about that if I was in the show, thinking, why isn't it? However, this is what they give it inside, everybody. This is what's on TV. And as you can see there, Tidings of Joy. Not even a full page, everybody. That's half the page, half a page.
Is that 1 star I can see in the corner there?
I'm not sure if that. I have to say, I'm going to say no because I didn't register that. But I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
but there you go. Bridgerton and Derry Girl's favourite Nicola Coughlan has the ride of her life as she joins the Doctor for an epic adventure in space and time in Doctor Who's thrilling special Joy to the World. She plays Joy, who checks into a London hotel for what she imagines will be a quiet Christmas. However, it's anything but when she opens a secret door and encounters danger, dinosaurs, and the Doctor. Joy comes across as shy and retiring, says Nicola, but the Doctor doesn't let her rest on her laurels. It's a big adventure. Guest stars in the special include Steph DeWally, Jonathan Harris, Joel Fry, Peter Benedict, Julia Watson, and Anima Mary Smith. But can Joy and the Doctor thwart a threat to human history and save Christmas? There's so much heart in this story, says Shooty. It's got such a joyous, lovely, warm, Christmassy feel. So that's page 4, and you just get that column.
I wonder if Nicola's final lines will be carrot juice, perhaps. I don't know.
No. Staying with what's on TV, guys, this is what it produces on Christmas Day itself. That's what you get. Doctor Who, 5:10, Joy to the World, fantasy drama, as opposed to science fiction drama now. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Now, that will come directly from the producers.
Yeah,
that doesn't grab you at all, does it? It doesn't sound the slightest bit exciting.
I'm surprised it doesn't start with the words Bridgerton, because everything else does. It's a cynical attempt to draw people in based on the popularity of something else.
It's true. But even if you look at what they've got there on the left of the What's on TV page for Christmas Day, it's Wallace and Gromit. It's called The Midlife, and of course, then it's Gavin and Stacey, the finale. None of us are surprised by this. I actually did think they were going to get a little bit more coverage in these things, because these things are big hits, as we know, at Christmas. Even in this day and age where you can look at the telly listings on the telly, which is what my family tends to do these days because we're cheap. Months ago now, says Stephen Braddock, a BBC insider said, if you go in thinking the Christmas special is going to be bad, you'll enjoy it. Really?
I want to enjoy it, I really do, but I can't see me enjoying it.
Yeah. Problem being, sort of making me like this thing. Surely it should read it's a queer drama. That would really put the British public off, wouldn't it, PB? To be quite honest, I think they know that now already after that nonsense that we had to endure earlier this year. Gilliam Saeed, yes, you might think that, but I couldn't possibly comment. So that's what's on TV anyway. Have a look at this one. Now, this is from TV Choice, and the Doctor just manages to sneak in. This is not the front page, by the way. This is the introductory page. The Doctor just manages to sneak in at the top left there. Can you see him? Can you spot him? It's like trying to find Wally. Oh, I'm back to Keir Starmer. But no, here we go. Can you see him? He's just there at the top left. Can you see him?
In his dressing gown, yes.
Yes. By the way, talking about that dressing gown, and we'll talk about this more, whose dressing gown is that? This looks very strangely familiar.
There's going to be a reference Arthur Dent, isn't there? Yeah, there will be.
It looks, have you seen the pictures, everybody? It looks like the Arthur Dent dressing gown from the BBC's version of Hitchhiker's. I reckon that's another little nod. And oh, aren't we clever? Let's put Shooty's Doctor in the iconic dressing gown for a little while as a nod to Arthur Dent. And am I wrong?
As long as it's not the one from Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, there'll be fruit in the pockets, wouldn't there, if there was?
Satsuma.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there we go. Yeah. Oh, God. I was not comfortable with that. Jackie Tyler's, whatever he was, I thought that, no, that's not Doctor Who. I don't need to know about that. Do you know what I mean? My flesh is creeping already. Anyway, back to that one, anybody. There we go. So, yeah, you've spotted him. 10 points to you all in the chat. Well done. There he is. It carries on with TV Choice here. Again, that's all it gets. So on the right there, I have given you what is printed on the Christmas Day on the top. They do give it the TV Choice Today's Choice. Joy, Nicola Coughlan, finds she's a long way from Derry as she hooks up with the Doctor for an adventure that may take her to the top of the world. but will definitely bring on the tears. No shock there. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. But
and that's not joy. It's the Doctor they're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you do our predictions, can we have a cryometer as well? Can we put that in as well? How many times he cries?
I did say we would look at that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I better make a note because I forgot. The cryometer. We'll look at doing that as well. But let's look at that. Isn't it? This is the shocking thing, though, isn't it? Look at this again. That's all it's getting there on the left-hand side. That is the size of the columns it's getting. Everybody.
It used to be full-page feature articles, didn't it?
It absolutely did.
Yeah, it's getting back to John Craven's back page again, just about, isn't it? So
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like how Anthony Parkinson is saying. You'd think $100 million of Disney money could buy more prominence.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. You know, again, I'm going to ask the question: who else hands up? Everybody in the chat. Who gets the feeling that Disney might not be involved with this anymore? Oh, please, goodness me, it's really sad. Anyway, we'll move on to this one because, that was TV Choice. Okay, so that is another big selling one as well. And again, it's one of those magazines that is cheaper than the Radio Times. And it's cheaper than the actual TV Times, and it's making me laugh now, guys, because I don't know if you've seen this in the comments, but look. Thank you for that, everybody. Thank you. They do make me laugh. I love doing this show. They make me laugh.
They're brilliant in our chat, aren't they?
They are
very good. Yeah, very
fabulous.
They really are.
They are fabulous. Julianne's added her hands up there as well. That's great. Yeah, great, fantastic. And in case I didn't say so, thank you to Kirsty, to Garbage, and to Problem Being for in the chat as well, making sure everybody's all cozy and lovely in there. But thank you for that. Anyway, let's move to this one because this is the TV Times. Now, hurrah, everybody, hurrah! The TV Times gives Doctor Who a page. Woohoo! Yes, you can sit back down in amazement and staggering unbelief there. The TV Times gives Doctor Who a page. Let's have a look at this a little bit more closely because it does say, picture the scene. You've checked into a London hotel for a quiet break when you suddenly open a secret doorway that plunges you into a whirlwind involving treachery, a T-Rex, and a Time Lord. This is the intriguing story that unfolds for, get ready for this, Third Doctor Ian Bridgerton and Derry Girl's favourite Nicola Coughlan when she guest stars in popular BBC One popular. Sorry. BBC One sci-fi drama Doctor Who, much anticipated new festive tale, Joy to the World. Why don't they use the word Christmas anymore? I'm sick of it all. After her character, an optimistic lady named Joy, crosses paths with the 15th Doctor at the Time Hotel, she finds herself embarking on an adventure of a lifetime. Yeah, I've heard that before. But with one of the Doctor's adversaries lurking in the wings, can the pair thwart a deadly plan threatening all of human history and save Christmas everywhere? Yeah, anyway, so that's that little bit they've got at the top there. Okay, that that little white bit I showed you there, that's at the top there. I think the fact, one of the things I want to ask you all about now is they keep going on about how Ncuti is the 15th incarnation of the Doctor. I think that's also off-putting for people now because they know the Doctor can change his face, right? The British public I'm talking about, and they're not wees. But surely Sunderland will be thinking, 15.
Yeah.
Do you not think?
Yeah.
So why can't he just be the Doctor anymore? Because we never did this. Meeting Peter Davison's 5th Doctor. We never did this. Tom Baker's 4th Doctor. We never did that back in the day, did we?
No.
It was just the Doctor. It was, and I think it's actually quite an insult to the actor as well, to be honest. Yeah, you're the 15th. Rub it in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it just me on that one?
No, I think it's good. It brings lots of baggage to it, doesn't it? To be honest, that's the problem.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Some nice comments coming in from you all. Keep them coming. Domgo is saying to us, Disney left the building the day Gatwas stuck his tongue down Rogue. Gilliam, Saeed is saying, remember still Sony backing Bad Wolf? I don't think they've got any say in it, to be honest.
They're asking for the money back as well, I think.
Yeah. And we've also
allegedly
got Craig, allegedly. Craig Dunlop, nice to see you, mate. I don't see why Disney would be out. It's several years too late for them to start thinking about making money. Poor sentiment. I think Disney were done with the show as soon as they saw the poor ratings for their season 1. And alone, welcome to Virtual Baz. Nice to see you, Virtual Baz. Welcome to Who's Views. Not seen you on the show before, but welcome. And Virtual Baz is saying to us, are we going to get a documentary about Pat Gorman?
Oh, that'd be lovely on season 7. That'd be nice. Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fab?
Would be.
What a guy, what a guy.
He played a Silurian, didn't he? And an Autobot.
What didn't he play?
Yeah.
What
Exactly.
didn't he
Yeah.
play?
Yes.
I'm just
sometimes he was
in
even
reference
there-
to season 7. I meant, but yeah.
and sometimes he was even there as an extra and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah. And
You
had
know what I
lines
mean?
occasionally as well. Yeah.
Yes, he did, and not just on Doctor Who. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to know that he made a living out of what we now call the extra work, as you still can today as well, as long as you
Yeah.
keep getting it.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult now, but we'll give him. Mark, our resident poet laureate here on Who's Views, is with us. Mark Milford, thank you very much for your super chat. Why does New Who, cancelled in 22 with under 2 million viewers, no BBC funding, boycotted in 42 countries, why does it get any press? It's curious, isn't it? Well, certainly it's not getting any when it comes to this, Mark. So thank you very much for that. Let's get back. Bill actually just adding, Bill Lowry adding, Pat Gorman was in all 3 Indiana Jones films. You mean the proper Indiana Jones films?
Yeah. He's in Batman with Michael Keaton as well. He's a policeman in that, I think. First Batman. Yeah,
he is, isn't he? I remember. Is he on a Doctor Who DVD talking about that? Because I was finding it fascinating what he was talking about. Where was that?
It's not on that. I was a Doctor Who Monster real-time pictures release.
I can't remember.
I
can't remember. It was somewhere, and I was watching it, thinking, "This is really good stuff. They should speak to Pat Gorman more often." Because we're getting nice little tasty tidbits. And Timkins, his being 15 is also an excruciating, unnecessary thing made up at RTD, forever condemned to be explained as to why he's not the 14th. The Eternal will actually. That numbering system now, it does my head in. It's just ridiculous. It shows how stupid they are, as far as I'm concerned. Lee Smith with us. RTD is running on shiny magazine fumes now, allegedly. Talking of which, let's get back to them then. So yes, that was the TV Times. And now, as you would have noticed on the original point, they've got 2 little bits here at the very end. What are they, I hear you say?
What are they?
Yes,
Yeah,
still available for Panto. Yes, still available for Panto.
Yeah.
12 o'clock and still no sign of Dick, but yes, it's all here. Moving on to this. This is what it says. There's so much heart in the story. Ncuti Gatwa on the Doctor's latest escapade. Brace yourselves, everybody. TV Times, what can we expect from this story, Ncuti? Ncuti Gatwa.
I don't know, says Ncuti.
Lots of crying. No, he actually says, we find the Doctor alone at the start of the episode. He's lost his companion. Who's at home with her family, and he's trying to fill that void with an adventure, and it's a big one.
Sure it is.
Fighting a T-Rex and working with Nicola was great fun. Did anyone tell him it was probably not there? Joy forces the Doctor to question himself, and there are some funny moments between them. In the episode, asked TV Times, is the episode rather full of festive cheer? It has a joyous, lovely, warm, Christmassy feel. There's so much heart in the story, which touches on loss, love, and humour, and that's exactly what you want for a Christmas Day adventure with the Doctor. Are there any moments that stand out to you from filming? One scene was very precarious. The set was pivoted on a gimbal. We know which scene this is now, so it could move, and the whole thing was like a booking Bronco. Where will you be when watching the episode? Where will you be watching the episode?
Asleep.
Mr. Gatwood responds, I still find it mortifying watching stuff I'm in. I wonder why.
So do we.
Yes. I don't know whether I'll be watching it with family and friends or pretending it isn't happening, then catching up later. And lastly, says TV Times, if you could check into the Time Hotel, where would you be your first stop? I mean, that's one of those traditional questions, isn't it? If you had a TARDIS, where do you go to? You get out to Saturday Superstore and Swap Shop, for crying out loud. Anyway, I would go to bed. That's somewhere I've not seen in a while.
I'd go back to Africa to my ancestors and save it from white oppression. That's what
when Ncuti gets interviewed, does he whisper things in the interviewer's ear? What's that? Ncuti won't play the xylophone, that kind of thing.
Right. What I'm saying here as well is this isn't recent stuff, and I reckon now, as I've said before, when we were looking at the TV listings for the Series 1 nonsense, there was a pattern that came through. Remember that when I was reading that, I was saying to you, oh, can you see the pattern here? And everybody was going, yes, it's the same answers. It's the same question. I reckon it's all now done by the BBC or Bad Wolf publicity. And this would have been done when Ncuti was filming or just filmed it.
It's probably done by AI, isn't it?
Possibly. But this would have been done a year ago and packaged together, ready for these things. And they probably got it in October or November, didn't they? Let's face it. The second bit of that, of course, is, yes, it's Nicola Coughlan on joining the Whoniverse. How does it feel to be part of Doctor Who Special, Nicola? It's a huge honour, I know how important the Christmas special is to people. It's the kind of thing where the whole family sits down to watch it, even if they aren't regular viewers. Well, that used to be, my darling. Yeah. What can you tell us about Joy? Joy's someone who comes across as very shy and retiring. She never wants to cause a fuss. Then you realize that she's hiding a lot of pain and struggle in her life. Aww. But the doctor doesn't let her rest on her laurels, and he really takes her through it. It's a big adventure. See what I mean? I've already spoken about that. I've said that from the previous one, yeah?
Yeah. It's been cut and pasted, hasn't it? Yeah. So.
Yes. How did it feel acting with all the special effects? Amazing, because it's like, oh, we really are blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm bored with it. Sorry, everybody. Will you be tuning in to watch the special on Christmas Day? Yes, I'll be at home. We've read this out before somewhere as well. Finally, if you were able to check into the Time Hotel, where would you go first? A great Gatsby-esque party in the 1920s or the 1930s, and lots of champagne and dancing. That would be very, what'd you say there? Very good? Very hard? I don't know, whatever. I'm not interested. But anyway, that's that. But you see, it is, as you're saying, that it's cut and paste, just like it was for the 8 atrocious episodes we had before.
Yeah,
and it shows to me that there's no real, they'll call it planning. I call it lack of care.
It's lack of enthusiasm and imagination, isn't it? There's no kind of oomph to it, is there?
Again, it's because I think they film so far ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm what's the reckoning, Who viewers, that when we do the TV listings, look at previews, when we're previewing series 2, as we were doing this year, when we're doing that, and we're looking forward to I don't mean looking forward, yippee. We're looking toward the episode that's coming up, and we look at the TV listings. What's the reckoning? And it'll be the same pattern where it's being given to them in a production pack. This is what you say, because it's all done. They're out of contract now. They've gone, So, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'll just come across as being very sterile. Like you say, pre-scripted months in advance and just handed out. No feeling, no emotion, no enthusiasm, because they're not dealing with the actual people. It's just scripted and sterile.
Yeah, it's lackluster, and it's like they've lost interest. That's what it's like. It's weird.
Like us, then, really.
Yeah,
exactly. Lee Smith is saying, not spoiling my Christmas Day birthday watching this. Well, listen, happy birthday for Christmas Day.
I hope you get 2 sets of presents, because that's a bit unfortunate.
I hope they get 2 sets of presents.
They should do. None of that Christmas and birthday thing being the same.
No, you've got to have a Christmas and you've got to have a New Year.
Exactly. I'm with you.
Remind us, Lee, on Sunday that it's going to be your birthday, and we'll say happy Christmas to you again on Sunday when we do our headlines on Sunday. All right. But yes, happy birthday for then. But please come back and join us and remind us again. And I mean it. Do remind us, and we'll call you out again. We'll say hello. Neville is saying exactly that. All these articles are cut and paste. It's pretty obvious, Neville, isn't it? Richard is saying to us, Richard Brooks is saying, it's so uninteresting.
Yeah.
Anthony Parkinson, I bet the catering budget took a hammering on that Xmas special. Oh, you are awful. Paul Centerford is saying to us, oh, I hate the term Hooniverse.
Yeah.
And bored now, says Stephen Braddock. I know, this is the thing, it's token, isn't it, Stephen? It's just all words. It's waffle. This is supposed to be a sell for what they're thinking is the biggest Doctor Who episode of the year.
Yeah.
Do you see any sell into it? Do you see any care? What are they doing here? I don't. I used
sounds like
to.
Tom Baker's Whippet ship, doesn't it? Really?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It has that whiff of it. It doesn't. He's saying with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're all getting onto it. You know what I'm doing this for. Yeah, they're all cut and paste. Legion of James. Does anyone else break out in hives when they hear the word Hooniverse? Me. Richard Brooks is saying Spooniverse. We'll have that. And dull, says Raymond Williams. It's dull. It's dull. I know. Here's Dalek Eye saying to us, oh, I want scary, edge of my seat sci-fi and a stoic doctor to save the day. None of this emotional slush. Try telling RTD that, because he's not listening to anybody. And that's one of the many, many, many reasons why his brand new version, all sparkling, all singing, multi-million-dollar version of Doctor Who is crap and in the toilet and not a success.
I bet you Joy saves the day. Bet you does.
Buy the season 7 box set, then you'll get all that.
Yeah. With a proper doctor. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Carmen is saying, where will I be when this is on? Touching snow, fingers crossed. Oh, I hate snow, Carmen. Oh, no, don't. Oh, can't be wrong with that. I hate it. Lots of you there, by the way. So thank you for everybody doing that. Demorpin saying to us, at least half the Doctor Who viewers will be people tuning in early for Wallace and Gromit. Yes. I bet you Bedouin identifies that it goes up like this towards the end.
Yeah.
For the last 10, 15
during
minutes.
the end titles of Doctor Who, yeah. So.
And that season 2 trailer at the very end, don't forget. You know, where people won't be watching, they'll be getting ready for the plasticine.
Yeah.
Bring on the plasticine. I know I will be. I can't wait to see that. The return of the plasticine. But yeah, I reckon the last 10, 15 minutes it'll go up slightly, and that was what will make up the success. Oh, we had 7 million watching us. No. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, for the last 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Virtual Baz saying to us, it's all hibbity jibbity squirrel words. Don't use that. And excuse me, Lee Smith, who wants us to stroke some shiny tinsel. I hope that's not euphemism. Heaven's sake, goodness me. Let's have a look. So where did they get to then? Yes, we've got to that particular one from the TV Times. So let's get on to this one. This one is from the TV Times as well. This is actually their Christmas Day version. Now, as you can see, Wallace and Gromit is the big lead there on their Christmas Day page. But
finally,
yes. But TV Times does give the Doctor that little bit down there. But as you can see, it's also showing the page with Strictly Come Dancing and Mrs. Brown's Boys.
wait, can I stop you there? Is that not 4 stars for Doctor Who?
Yes, 4 stars out of 5 for this.
What
does TV Times say here in this bit? Doctor Who, 5:10 Nicola Coughlan, Bridgertonian, finds herself confronted with danger, dinosaurs, and the Doctor as she guest stars in Doctor Who's festive outing, Joy to the World. She plays shy and retiring Joy, who's about to spend Christmas alone in a very pink London hotel room. When a Silurian makes a surprise entrance, it's not really a surprise, and she is thrown into an adventure involving the Doctor's old enemy, Villain Guard. That's a surprise for many of you expecting to see something from the Christopher Eccleston era. Cue a mission for Joy and the Doctor to save the history of Christmas. But how will they escape when they find themselves in the jaws of a T-Rex? Does anyone care?
No.
4 out of 5 stars for Doctor Who there. There you go. But that's
good.
It does follow a theme, doesn't it? Danger, Doctor, Dinosaurs, DDD. And the other one was T-Rex, Treachery and Time Lords, TTT. It's one or the other in all the different magazines. Same theme. Yeah. Same theme, same crap.
Yeah, no, it's true. Let's go back to the chat just for a minute before we get onto that. Heretic, OSJC, I don't understand how people like Mrs. Brown's Boys. Hey, I'll let you into a secret. They don't.
Yeah.
When he left the BBC, Piers Wenger in his wisdom, Freudian slip, commissioned, I think it was something like 150 years of Mrs. Brown's Boys for Christmas and New Year specials. That's all Brendan got out of it. You know, so he's written those things now, and that was part of the deal. And that's before he left the BBC. Piers Wenger left the BBC, so they have to show them because they are committed to them. They are contracted to them. So what a lovely gift from him, eh?
Did Brendan have a file on him or something? Allegedly,
I don't know what happened there.
He must have.
I don't know what happened. I remember talking about it on the show and showing some of the stuff there. But that's why BBC is stuck with Mrs. Brown's Boys, and that's possibly part of the reason why it's on nearly at midnight at the end. So you're going to get one on Christmas Day and then you get the other on New Year's Day because they have to be 2 a year. What a silly thing to do. What a waste of license fee payers' money, because it was falling down in the ratings anyway, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't care about that, do they? He liked it, and now it's totally out of date because of what's going on. It's not part of the modern world anymore, is it? Again, to Mark Milford, thank you so much, Mark. Our poet laureate here on Who's Views, for your super chat. In 2023, Bluey had 43.9 billion minutes on Disney Plus. In 2024, they introduced the first LGBTQ character, and it's now down to 35 billion minutes. Hang on a minute. Why is this happening in kids' TV all the time now? Why are they inserting an LGBTQ alleged, I'm going to put there, LGBTQ character into children's television? I disagree with it. As a gay man, I don't want it in children's television. What is that about? You know, I can't deal with it because for me, you introduce that character, it eventually leads to sex. And I don't want children, call me old-fashioned, I don't care. I don't want children of 4, 5, 6, 7, or even 8 knowing
let
about
them have a childhood. That's the important thing.
It's just pure indoctrination. That's all it is. It's indoctrination. Get them while they're young. They all do it. RTD does it.
I just don't get why they put it in blue. And I know I was only reading something about it yesterday. Didn't something flop? It wasn't Bluey. There was another children's character. Oh no, it's the Disney film. Surprise, surprise. Hello, it's Scylla here. But surprise, surprise, one of the forthcoming Scylla films, one of the forthcoming Disney films is a children's film. And it's one of these CGI things, I think, or cartoon or something like that. And there was an alleged LGBT character in this, but they've now toned it down. They've toned all that out. They've removed it.
Yeah.
I think it's this. I think it's a Disney thing. And so therefore there's no reference to it now in there, but the character still, I think the character is a T character. Why?
Yeah.
Why is a T character like Doctor Who in a children's television show? No.
But if they're taking it out, that's a good sign, isn't it?
They've definitely dumped it down.
Yeah.
Well, things are changing, aren't they?
Yeah.
They'll be running frightened now, won't they? Because we all know what happens in January. So listen, if Bluey has gone down to 35 billion minutes, that could be sensible parenting. And what a shame for such an incredible character. If these production teams have bent the knee to the DEI nonsense, don't do it. There's a saying which is very true: go woke, go broke. And we can name loads of them now, from Gillette to Boots the Chemist.
Yeah.
Shocking stuff. Mark, thank you for that information, but goodness me, that really winds me up. I don't understand. Look at this. Lee Smith saying 4 stars. Have they even seen it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They won't have shown them it. There won't have been a preview.
I'm not.
Money's changed hands, obviously. Allegedly,
possibly. Yeah. I doubt it. It could be. Oh, it depends who it's written by. Because remember, some of the Doctor Who fans are writing for these TV listeners magazines now.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And we've got here Heretic OSJC. My mate bangs on about how I don't know if I can say that. And woke Doctor Who is, but he loves Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Weird.
Well, really? I'd get him help. He knows it's a fella, right? You know, Garbage wants to know, is Bluey owned by the BBC? They certainly have a big, massive say in it, don't they?
Yeah.
Is it not a partnership deal for Bluey?
I think it might be, but they've got a large percentage of the shares of it, I think, probably, yeah.
Yeah, because I think they invested in Bluey, didn't they?
Yeah. There's a fluke, really, to be honest. But
yes. Yeah, and it wasn't part of the deal. Disney wanted it. We heard all about that. Disney wanted Bluey more than Doctor Who, but okay, all alleged on that one because I'm not sure that would have played a role because Disney were collecting stuff, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's this from Craig? That coin-driven washing machine from Wallace and Gromit's first adventure would make a suitably menacing enemy for Shooty. That was a great one, wasn't it? That first one, I remember all that. Yeah. Absolutely wonderful. You're talking about the villain guard there as well. Ark in Space is also saying, can't stand Mrs. Brown's Boys. I'll be watching other better sitcoms like my early Christmas presents, Dad's Army and One Foot in the Grave on DVD. Absolutely. Other channels are available. Peter's saying Bluey is getting a film. Well, it's not going to work if they're going to go down that route, are they? No. Richard is saying they want to affect children. It winds, you know who views it winds me up. What have we got? This Legion of James, LGB without the TQ, the nefarious cult's agenda does not speak for us. You know I'm on the same page with you there, Legion of James. Absolutely. Pete Harrington is remember the days that I was sent to bed if naughty bits were shown on the telly. Exactly. Yeah, but you didn't expect to have them in Jack and Blum and Nori, did you?
No.
And when did
Leslie Sweeney or something, not Jack and Nori, but yeah.
Oh, it was shocking stuff. I can't believe this. What was this? Garbage saying it was in a new Transformer cartoon too. It was all about non-binary. What? Yep. These people are insane. Yep. They are insane. They should be locked up, I think. That is ridiculous, isn't it? This whole cult is in there now.
They have to transplant themselves into everything. They can't, we could quite happily watch a film where nobody like us, probably mercifully, nobody like us appears in it, but we could still enjoy the film. Yeah. They could not watch a film unless there are people that are exactly based on them in it.
But it's all that alleged representation is failing. We all know it, don't we? Yeah. It's failing big time because it's a minority, a very loud, screaming, lunatic minority, but it's a minority. Thank you, Paul Thomas Ashworth, by the way, for the usual little Super sticker there. Appreciate that. Keep it up, he's saying to us. Thank you so much. And Paul Stenterwood is saying this alphabet cult are effectively grooming children via programming. It's totally disgusting. Castellan Spandax is bound with us. Thank you. Nice to see you, Castellan Spandax. It's a Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
I don't see any difference with them all now because it's in everything. But to find it in, I mean, can you imagine if that was in Postman Pat back in the 80s?
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous! It's a children's show. Leave the kids alone. Hashtag leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. It really annoys me. Eddie, what you're saying to me, JT, they've been pushing the LGBTQ on kids in America over the past couple of years now, and some of the reading material is definitely not for little kids. I know that. I have seen and I campaign against a lot of this nonsensical books. We have them here in the UK as well. They are poisonous. They are absolute poison. There is no way they should be in school libraries or children's library, but we've got well-meaning adults a lot of the time who will go, oh, well, we've got to be seen to be open and tolerant and all this. And then, of course, a lot of our education has been infiltrated now by utterly delusional alleged activists.
I think education awareness is important, but it has to be age appropriate, doesn't it? To be honest.
Yeah, but some of the stuff they tell them in these books that I'm actively involved in petitioning against and getting off the shelves are lies. Utter lies of the David Tennant and RTD for magnitude. They are lies. They are telling children lies. There are not 100 and something genders or whatever number we're up to now. There are 2. Get on with it. You know, it's just, I'm sure we've got a lot more about this to come in 2025, everybody. I really am, because it's in our favourite show now, isn't it? Paul Rose, thank you, Problem Being. And Paul Rose, trouble is it's not being inclusive. It's advertising and promoting it as if it's the norm and not in reality very rare. Yeah, I mean, it's just nonsense, isn't it? And I think I told you when I went to see Wicked, the Boots advert came on, and there was an audible from a lot of people, in the audience.
And you got into a fight just about, didn't you, as well? So
yeah, Stephen's telling me, Stephen's telling me things are changing, JT. It was reported today that Disney have removed an alleged LGBTQ character from their next Pixar movie. Thank you for clarifying that for me, Stephen. I knew I'd seen it at some point today, but thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's really rattled me. I'm sorry. It really has.
I think the thing is, as you said, it's a minority influencing majority. It's like the tail wagging the dog. It's just weird.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, that's exactly that.
Exactly. Rose Kirby apparently is off now. Rose, try and join us on Sunday, okay? But good, and hope you're okay. Stay with us on Sunday. Come and join us Sunday. The usual time for headlines on Sunday, 8 o'clock. We might be back before that. If you never know, but stay tuned. Keep with us. But thanks for joining us. Postman Pat and his non-binary cat, says Craig Dunlop.
Have you ever seen the overdubbed Postman Pat?
Oh, the sweary one, yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to. No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's brilliant. That's very funny.
JT. You've got to watch it.
I want to.
It's like Viz meets Postman Pat. It's brilliant.
Anyway, we got up to this. This is us looking at the TV listeners magazines here in the UK for the coverage towards Joy to the World. As you can see, there wasn't that much this year. And that did take me by surprise. I had a pile of them, guys. I had a pile of these things here. You know, these were the only ones that covered it out of all the TV listing magazines that are still available throughout the UK. So we've just done the TV Times. And of course, now we go to the Radio Times, which, if you remember from our last couple of editions of headlines, Doctor Who featured on that little edition that deals with 1 week. The one nobody bothers with. As I've said before on headlines, it comes out exactly the same time as the big one, which was this one for Radio Times, with Wallace and Gromit taking full center stage there on the cover. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Have you noticed, guys, they have, for the first time, as far as I'm aware, got rid of the legendary issue. You see? It's not there. And I'll explain this. For decades now, they used to have a slash on the front cover saying the legendary issue, because it was, especially for our generations, we grew up with the big issue of the Radio Times. And it was legendary because you got the 2 issues in one, and it was the Christmas and New Year edition, and you would spend hours going through it with a highlighter for your parents to say, no, you're not watching any of that. You know, it was fun. Yeah. But look, it's not there now. And now it's just the Radio Times. Strange and sad. Anyway, because they covered Doctor Who with their cover in the previous edition, and they did that whole thing with Moffat and RTD, the pictures of which we've shown you in the last 2 editions of Headlines. You'd think they would maybe do a little bit more than this.
Yeah, God, that's tiny.
This is what they call it. This is in the Radio Times. This is on their page. Doctor Who, 510. Arrivals and departures are a fluid concept at a hotel the Doctor visits over the festive season. Again, not the word Christmas. For this one possesses the secrets to time travel. An unsolved room, for instance, becomes a thing of the past. Such a sublimey, timey-wimey idea could only come from the bigger on the inside brain, see what I mean, of writer Stephen Moffat, who, recognizing nobody ought to be alone at Christmas, has the Doctor cross paths with lonely hotel guest Joy. To find out more, check into Doctor Who Unleashed at 7:10 on BBC Three on Christmas Day, of course. See feature page 11. No, it didn't have anything. Right, well, it did, but it was silly. It was just the usual nonsense. But it did show this, of course. This is for Monday night, 9 p.m. News that a 10-part serial had been slimmed down to a 90-minute version may have worried purists, but these fears are unfounded, for this is a perfectly coherent, colorized take on Patrick Troughton's 1969 send-off, complete with some charming surprises for long-time viewers. It's also a canny move, as black and white 1960s storytelling at that original length is daunting prospect for most younger fans. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Here they get to witness Troughton's influential take on the Doctor, as well as a bold story of brainwashing at a faster pace. It's called Season 1 of Disney Who. Catch a special Who from tomorrow at 4 to blah, blah, blah. But yeah, but they're sticking to the party line on that. But yeah, I had to say the feature wasn't worth it. It was similar to the TV Times one, so I thought, oh, can't be bothered. Yeah.
What amazes me, the fact in that War Games article it says could be coherent. That's interesting. Yeah,
We'll be the judge of that.
yes, perfectly
Exactly,
coherent.
we will.
Yeah.
This is a perfectly coherent, colorized take on Patrick Troughton's send-off, and then the fact that they've got the party line there. It's a canny move, as black and white 1960s storytelling of that original length is a daunting prospect for most younger fans. Listen, if the industry is so intent on this, I think that's really insulting these younger fans. And it's because they've been listening to the crystal meth lot, isn't it? Oh, we've got to zoot it up. That's where it's come from. I don't believe there was a blooming report, guys. I think it's come from the crystal meths. And that woke lot that was sat from the Time team by Panini.
The fast forward brigade, that's them.
Yeah. I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I think it's the BCs, the guy that's edited it and all them telling these alleged adults running that paper. Sorry. Yes, exactly. Well, it is, and that's it. As Lee Smith is agreeing with you.
Yeah.
And we've
Can
got
I just say I can't see the chat because I'm on my phone, so I'm not.
Oh, of course,
I'm not being prompted by people's responses. I'm just doing it off my top of my head,
And Julianne's saying to us here, pointing out the Unleashed episode crap to explain away the plot holes. That's where we're up to, but that actually was it. Everybody, that is what was there in the TV listings magazines for Christmas. Is that a good sell of your big Christmas Day episode, which is as RTD has admitted is the biggest one? Come on, of the year. I mean, it's not really, is it?
It's desperate, isn't it?
Is it a good sell? Will the public come to this?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think they're going to come to it at all. I don't think they are.
They left the room years ago, to be fair.
I think so. Right, I'm going to... Heretic is saying to me, how is the same-sex couple in Bluey unsuitable? They're not pushing any nonsense, just existing. I wouldn't let my kids watch it if they were. I'm more concerned about my 10-year asking what a Diddy party is. My point of that is, quite frankly, why is it there? It's only there because it's tick boxing. From my point of view, Heretic, as a same-sex attractive man, as a gay man, where were they 20 years ago when we needed them? At the turn, into the 80s, the 90s. In the 90s in our country, we needed people there helping us to push the message. Nobody wanted to know. It's as though they're now doing it just simply because they've been told to, because of the DEI, because of the tick boxing nonsense. You're too late to the party, everybody. No. And I actually am not comfortable with it, because as I said earlier, when you bring in this stuff, it leads to a conversation about sex. And I think that's down to parents to take their time and to have that element of when they want to bring that conversation, when it's their child suitable for that. Everybody advances at different ages. Some children a parent may feel at 12 or 13, we're going to tell our kids about this now. Some people may say, no, I'm going to leave it a little bit. No. But when a television program introduces it, it takes away the responsibility, in my eyes, from the parent to have that choice. So just let kids be kids, leave them alone, leave off all the sex stuff, and just have characters. And if they're dogs and cats and chickens and whatever else it's going to be, puppets, leave it alone.
Yeah.
And let the parents tell the kids when they want to, not when the school insists. And of course, a lot of the messages, I'm off now. A lot of the messages they're giving out, Heretic, especially in America and this country, Australia, New Zealand, I could carry on, are lies. There are only two genders in the world. You are not born in the wrong body. It's simple as that. And a lot of that is homophobia. And that's what they're bringing into all this with this rhetoric. We've seen it in Doctor Who this year. No, personally, I won't stand for it at all. I don't think it's right in television, in children's television. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Leave it alone and let the kids be kids. We had something called Grange Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was the program that shook a lot of the adults up at the time. But remember, we were actually thinking this is what happens at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was hard. Remember the one where they dealt with the drugs?
Just say no. Yeah.
Yeah, which got a lot of ribbing from our age group at the time, but it was there and it was done properly. But can you imagine if they were doing it now? It'd be Waterloo Road, wouldn't it? Well, we've got trans this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
No, not for children. Not for children. It has to be done properly and at a certain age. And Grange Hill was a drama that was on late in the day, wasn't it, as well? And a lot of the younger ones would be in bed by that point as well, at 5 o'clock or whatever it was. No. So, with respect, Heretic, that's my take on that one. Sorry for going off a bit. I wanted to answer that one because I felt it important. So that was it. That, unfortunately, is exactly what was in the United Kingdom listing magazines.
It's not stunning, is it?
Not stunning at all. Not stunning at all. I think it was just, thank you, Heretic. Yeah. Got you. Yeah, thank you for that. Bit of a letdown for what used to be, let's remember, a flagship BBC drama, which was on at 7 o'clock every Christmas and did very well. This time round, it's on in what is professionally known as the Christmas Day graveyard slot at 5:10.
Yeah.
We will be here to talk about that after Joy to the World. If you want to know exactly what's happening, you have to join us again for headlines here on Who's Views on Sunday for our usual headline slot with Third Doctor Ian and with Paul joining me for that. I do hope.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
They wouldn't be very good in panto, would they? These two. No, you'd be waiting for a cue for. Anyway, you got that. Listen. Also, we started the show.
Oh, yes, we would. Oh no, later.
Oh no, you wouldn't.
It's all about timing. Okay. So.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. We started the show, of course, with the rumor that happened yesterday that season 7, which we knew was on the way, is going to be announced any time now. Everybody, stay tuned for it, because if it is, I can guarantee you that we will be back with a show to talk about it and to investigate exactly what is on that gorgeous looking box. I know these two are very excited about it all. I'm very excited about myself, and we've already seen, guys, that a lot of other Who viewers are excited about it as well. Do that again, Paul.
This is my chat. If I get on camera, my Wallace and Gromit excited. Yeah.
It's uncanny, isn't it, viewers?
It's beautifully impersonated, don't you think? Yeah.
I just thought it was plasticine then. I really did.
Yeah,
it really is uncanny and indeed unnatural. So that will be here. So stay with us. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. We do appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Please make sure you're still subscribed and ring that bell for notifications, because we could be back before you know it. If that's announced, I've got it ready already. So yes, stay with us and we'll be back soon. If not, we will see you here on Who's Views for headlines on Sunday. The show is already up there. You can set a reminder already for Sunday's show, live, 8 o'clock UK time. As ever, thank you so much for joining us. We have great numbers again tonight. It's brilliant to see you all. Third Doctor Ian to Paul, thank you for a great show again. Really enjoyed chatting to you, as ever.
Thank you. Loved it. Likewise.
Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you. So I've just checked the timing right now.
I know, yes, we're over again. Sorry about that, but it's because you're part of it as well.
I thought he was buffering again then. I didn't know for a minute.
I can do the Max Headroom bit as well. It's fine. Yeah.
Until we see you next time on Whose Views, thanks for joining us. Have a great day tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Ciao.